Well, I suppose that was one hell of a greeting this morning. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Welcome in. Oh boy, new model. Oh my goodness. Hi, Wire. How are you doing? What trouble are you getting into? Clara! Clara, welcome in. How was your stream? Did you have a good time? Hold on, I missed it. What were you playing? What were you doing? What shenanigans were you up to? Where is it? Where is it? Hello? Mix it up? Where's my... There it is. Oh, you're playing Skyrim. Skyrim? My goodness. I cast Uncontrollable Wiggling. How could you? How could you? Oh my goodness. Stealing? Oh, stealing only run. So like, are you like pickpocketing everybody and you can't like buy stuff from a store? Is that the thing? Is that the deal? I guess milk and cookies. Ooh. Ooh. Oh my God, you were just reminded me. Last night I made like a cheesy Balduc chicken. Oh my God, it was so fucking good, dude. I fucked it up a couple nights ago because I had the heat way too high and I overcooked my chicken and had to throw it out. So I made it again, but this time I was a lot more careful and it came out so good. So fucking good. You ever have those foods that you take a bite of and you do like a little like wiggly happy dance? No Armstrong Barons built up a defense against it? Wait, Wait, did it not go off? Oh shit, I know why. There we go. I forgot to turn on the overlay thing. Oh, it was so good and it was so fucking easy. It was so easy. It's basically just chicken and like a marinade that you then sear, cook, and then throw cheese over it and you're done. It's like 20 minutes. 20 minutes. It was even better. Weirdly enough, it was better after it cooled down. It was so good when it was hot, but after it cooled down and like the mozzarella was still a little runny. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I have another cheesy dish to make now when I get a craving for cheesy stuff. Okay, I'll trigger it. It's fine. It's fine. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll give it to you. I was going to ask if you could just refund it, but this is fine. This is even better. Channel points. There it is.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Cast bread over every egg.
All right. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Guess that's my sign to reroll a character. Wait. What did Hayden say? Where? Exactly that. Okay. Like you can only use stuff flagged as stolen. Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting. Should get the Gianni version. Wait, did Gianni do? Oh, is the Gianni version the one from has another way of satisfying her cheesy urges and not asking me to compliment her? Those aren't cheesy urges. I don't get cheese out of that one. I don't get melty gooey cheese out of that. I need the melty gooey cheese. Oh my goodness. My sources, I made it the fuck. Okay, that is Gianni. Oh my God. Cheese, government cheese moment. No, this isn't government cheese. I don't skimp on the type of cheese that I get. I got Sargento for this. I got Sargento mozzarella instead of like Parade or like Country Fare. The ones that are only like 70 cents cheaper, but marginally more plastic. We're confiscating the carnival's melty cheese, but I was gonna make cheesy corn dogs. Do you not want the corn dogs? Chat, do you not want the corn dogs? Why does YouTube say I have a notification, but then when I click it, there's no notification? Which one of you commented on a video and then deleted it? Quick distract me. Tree Law? Owlery. Ooh, good name. Owlery Bookworm. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. I am forgetting something too. And it's bothering the shit out of me. I knew I had to do something like 10 minutes before stream. And I was like, okay, I'll do that after I finish typing this up. And then as soon as I finish typing everything up, it's gone. It's fucking gone. I have no memory. Not a single goddamn memory of what. Oh, good Lord. Okay, I did not need to read that. At least I don't think I did need to read that. Fuck microplastics. I cast macroplastics. What does casting macroplastics do? Care to explain? Care to explain? He who? What do you mean, he who? Also, is the new thing working? Oh my god, it is working. Okay, chat's working. Yes, 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 yes. Haru was awesome and got me exactly the problem was with like the emote thing. So I'm really glad that that's working. Maybe that was what I was worried about. I don't know. I don't know if exactly that was what I was worried about or not, but it's fucking bothering me. You sure you aren't me? I've done that right before, after 3 minutes after I had the idea, I'll walk into a room. I literally did that yesterday while I was cooking. I walked into the pantry and forgot why I went in there. It was to get the corn oil, but I still forgot when I walked in. I was like, I came in here for a reason, but I don't remember it now. It's because my brain's almost always like running at fucking 200 miles an hour. So like, I'll be like, I'll remember to do this thing. And then in the next 5 minutes, I'll have had 200 other thoughts. And you'll be lucky if I remember the thing that I was supposed to go do. Which is why usually when I need to get things done, it'll be kind of a like, I'll do it right now. Also, holy shit, Carrie. Thank you for the 320 stream streak. Jesus. Nah, that's what I've done since like college. Whenever I think of doing something, I literally just go do it right then and there. Like immediately. It's like, I need to do laundry after I like do blank. Usually I'll be like, I'll take a shower today and then I'll start my laundry. And that usually works. But the way I remind myself to do my laundry, just in case I'm concerned I'm going to forget it, is I will pick up my laundry hamper and put it in the middle of the room. To the point where like I'll have to notice it and I'll have to be like, either I wonder why that's there or, oh, I need to do laundry. Forgets it forever. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Was for Discord? Uh-oh. What have you done? What have you done? Stop thinking about it. Oh no, I don't remember. I don't remember what the thing was. Hold on, what's this he who? I don't know what the I don't know what the he who is for the Discord. Dakama, Spicy Doggo, thank you guys for the follow. Welcome in. How are you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Media share, media share, media share. What the fuck is that, Carrie? 2,762 YouTube notifications. Also, this is your reminder, chat. You should go empty your email box. Go empty your email box. Check your text messages if you have a notification icon next to your text messages. What should I expect? We typically play spooky games. We like playing a lot of RPGs. We talk TTRPGs. Today is Thursday. Usually that would be a day to talk about spooky stuff. We could catch up on like the weekly movie trailers that have come out, which is something we're going to do today because there's a new fucking Conjuring movie and I'm going to do a video on the Conjuring series. So help me God someday. I swear to God. Go empty your inbox, Faye. I have to clear them all every time I see them. I do the same thing. I do the same thing. I'm not trapped here forever. I mean, you are required to come back for every single show. So you're expected to be here every Monday through Thursday, noon CDT. You have to be here because I have to get partner. That is a requirement. That is a requirement. Do you understand? Do you understand, chat? Do we need to have this conversation? Hi, hardtag. No, it's fine. We'll just go ahead and like, here, we'll tuck this back. We'll get rid of the desk. It's fine, chat. Here, come here. I just want to talk. I just want to talk, chat. What's wrong? Come here. Come here, you son of a bitch. Hi, chat. Hi, chat. How are you doing? This thing is actually broken. I'm supposed to be able to move and wiggle you around, but in the most recent update, it broke. It broke. Or I could just awkwardly caress your face. Come here. Come here. It's fine. It's fine. I can come here. Let me touch your face. Let me touch your face. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, the old version let me throw you around and stuff, but it broke apparently, and now it's only stationary. But Rin's gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it later tonight. Anyway, but no, wait, I want my desk back. Give me my desk back. Thank God. Thank God. One of those for her claws. I think it can be better because Rin had to rig it like really weirdly. I genuinely think there's maybe a better way it could have been done. But we'll worry about that in the future. What's done is done right now. I can bring back a souvenir next time I vanish if it helps. I like souvenirs. I like presents. Oh, right, chat. All right, hold on. We need to talk about the subathon real quick. Really quick. Who doesn't like presents? Momo! Wait, Momo, you've never been here? First time chatter, Momo. I could have swore you've been here. Weird. I've never chatted. Gosh darn it, Momo. It's fine. It's fine. Hold on. We need to kind of, we're going to walk over here. We're going to go over here. This will be fine. And don't worry, I did also fix that lower chat down there. So we need to talk about this. We are still all the way through the 750, and we're going to be doing Hello Kitty next week. Following? Are you looking for like follow age? I believe it's follow age. Followage, as I sometimes read it for some reason. Don't swear Momo's here. I mean, me and Momo play TTRPGs every week together. And we're going to be doing a more serious campaign. What is it, next Monday? Penguin, thank you for gifting a sub to Momo. I haven't said hello to Kitty in quite some time. Oh no. Oh no. You didn't follow yourself? You can't follow yourself. Which is weird, which usually like breaks the API for those things that like checks if you're following yourself. Because it'll be like, you're not following you. Even though I technically have a permanent tier 3 sub to myself. Also, hi Vaggy. Vaggy, is your name a reference to Hazbin Hotel? Are you saying that Vaggy and Charlie got married? And therefore Vaggy's last name is now Morningstar? I dig it. I saw the trailer. Apparently, I don't know how I feel about this. Hell of a Boss is going to be on Prime Video going forward. As like, apparently there's going to be 3 more seasons of Hazbin Hotel, which I am deeply concerned where the progression is going to go. Are we just going to get like 3 more seasons of them arguing with the angels? Is God going to come back? What's the deal? Of Watchstreak's Gorilla streams wreck the poor thing? True, but I haven't done a Gorilla stream in a long time. All of my streams have been scheduled. Now they're just gonna overfill heaven? Maybe. Oh, what the fuck? I dropped the thing that I was like twirling, and I got a Windows kind of noise. Not the like, not the no. It was the place more and more the script with the fuck word. Probably, maybe. Supposedly they still have like full creative liberty. I don't know. But anyway, on the Donathon thing, these are all the goals. We're already through 750. Do we want to do the 1 hour AMA today? We can do an entire hour starting right now. God damn it. Parade. A big bad extra large. Big bad dragon toy. Oh my god, that's the second bad dragon we've had in a day. In the last 2 days. Holy shit. Donathon, there is no timer. Unfortunately. Gotta wait on the parade. Unfortunately, there is no timer because I can't do uncapped where I am. I have a I have a window each day where I can stream and nobody's home. And even now, there's a new family member that came home from college because she finished her stuff. So she's probably going to be here just about every day I start streaming. Timer is omnipresent even when there isn't one. Holy shit. Thank you for the bits. But no, it's basically this is going to be going until we hit all of the goals because this is a kind of absolute necessity thing. This is to raise money for the additional funds we need for the house. If you want to contribute to it, you can do it at !Ko-fi, or I believe ! Is it donate? Yeah, donate works too. Wait, I just remembered something about what the thing I was forgetting. It was changing something. What was it? It was changing a command. Fuck. Was it a redeem? Was I changing a redeem? Oh my god. Oh my god, I don't remember. It was something about changing. Was it a link? Do we need to change the link? Was it a link for something? Fuck. Fuck. I'm like, it's like right there. It's right there. What is it? It's not the boat redeem. It's not the boat redeem. Forgot. No, it's you fucking goofball. Part of me is happy that Mount has Sai and Faye to be with them, but I'm sad because Maiden's leaving us behind. I'm not leaving you behind. Hello, not Mount. What do you mean not? Damn it. Ordain, stop with the sticker dick vein. God damn it. What is it? Oh my god, it's gonna bother me. It's gonna bother me. I was supposed to change something. Face squinch. Face squinch. But fuck. What was it? One snicker dick vein per stream. You get one. Everybody gets one. She's gonna grab us randomly. You'd like that now, wouldn't you? You'd like that now, wouldn't you? Okay, then carry on. Carry on then. Also, I've seen the non-bird related website. You're on a gym journey. I don't know if a gym journey is like the exact phrase. Like a lot of people will usually be like, oh, I'm on a gym journey. I'm looking to like lose weight or anything. The weird way to say this is like lifestyle more than likely. I go to the gym 4 days a week and it's less to be like pump out or do a shitload of cardio to like try and lose weight. And it's like, it's just part of my routine. Like I've the worst health I've ever been in my life was when I was a teenager, and it's literally only gotten better because I've constantly been going to the gym since like 2020. McClown Pounder. All right, chat, get the clowns out. Get the clowns out. Here we go. I deleted you from this playlist. You should not be here. Hell yeah, getting buff, baby. It's okay. The summer outfit is going to be much more buff. That's the plan. That's the plan I'm working out with Izzy whenever we eventually get to that. Right now, I've only given Izzy the like ideas and stuff, and she said she's excited to do the design and wants to do the design. I just don't have the money for it right now. But speaking of money, and I hate using that as the segue back to this. 12-hour stream is the next goal. We'll hit that at 50%. We're currently at 43. That 12-hour stream as well as the 24-hour stream at the 2K is going to be after the move. It is going to be after the move. I hope that y'all you missed. We're using the SS now in McBoatface. Oh my god. McClown Pounder is the perfect name for working at a circus. I agree. That is a good name. Okay, easy peasy. Please calm. How many clowns can fit in a clown car? As many as you can shove in. Damn it, I get caught up by Twitch. Or I feel like, that's a start to a joke. I don't know, but you have to pound the last few in. Oh my god. Also, the on-screen chat cares not for your sub. The VOD watchers will never know you can't use Mao emotes. Wait, what? Huh? VOD watchers will never know you can't. Wait, what? What is it doing? Wait, what do you want to be called by? Nothing. It's just like, it doesn't matter. My name Down there, somewhere, way down there, way down there. That works. But Deister Parade, oh my God. Okay, so the 12-hour and 24-hour stream are going to be after the move, so that'll probably be a few months away at least. The voice pack is going to be a free-to-use alert pack that I'm going to record and give away for free on my Ko-fi. The Dad Go Round, if you are new here and you don't know what Dad Go Round is, it is a day where we wake up pretty fucking early and we go fishing in various different like fishing games and stuff, and we do it like I'm taking the kids on a fishing trip. Drinking stream, that will be we'll of course be drinking. I'm gonna grab some friends, and what we're probably gonna do is we will take examples. We'll probably have like our own list, but we'll also take like some people that are like various VTubers and mutuals and stuff to reply in like probably a tweet thing. And we may design beverages based around the character. I call shotgun on the fishing trip. All right, you can get shotgun. Everybody else is gonna have to ride on top of the car. We can get SS Malin McBoat base eventually. I will get an updated boat.
Shrieking skulls will shock your soul and seal your doom tonight.
All right. I'm still recovering from a hell of a drink last night. I was chasing Crown Royal Apple with Sprite and Everclear. Chasing with Everclear. You are a brave son of a bitch. Dad jokes galore, guaranteed. All right, though, guys, if you can't read them because you're on mobile or anything, that little other tiny diamond down there says stretch goals available. I mentioned previously what one of those stretch goals was. The Vampire the Masquerade one-shot. I am going to run, if we get, I'm defining what the stretch goals are going to be for. I am going to apply these stretch goals immediately after we pass the 2K mark, instead of what I said where we hit like the 6K total, because me, Faye, and Sai are all splitting it. The stretch goals are going to automatically apply after we hit our 2K for this contribution. That one I think is going to, though, it's going to be at the probably 2.5K, because hopefully that extra money will be able to go towards production value for it, because I want to put effort into this. And if I really like the layout that I come up with, then I may use it for all future TTRPGs we play. I call Sunstar's lap for the journey. Ooh. No, we're the road safety, kids. Road safety. But yes, 2,500 is going to be the goal for the Vampire the Masquerade one-shots. And I'm actually very excited to do that because I haven't DM'd since 2019, before COVID. Use what for all TTRPGs? I'm going to get like a layout. I'm going to get some production stuff going. Like what I'm probably going to get is I'm going to get like probably a like table asset as if we were playing in like one of my rooms here. But that's the gist. That's I think my biggest goal. That's probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most, and I really hope we hit it. Are we all crammed in a hatchback for the fishing trip? Or riding the truck that's sitting on the wheel? Well, I don't know. That doesn't sound like the best idea. I just like caps lock. Caps lock is useful sometimes for when you want to convey yelling. Yes, excellent, yelling. Road trip, everyone on top of the vehicle. Oh my God. Didn't you want us all on the roof? Yeah, y'all are all going on the roof. I have plenty of bungee cables. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Can I have the harpoon gun, please? No, we're not going diving. We're not going spearfishing. We're going regular fishing. This is dad level fishing. So we're sitting on a dock or the bank and having a few brewskis. Me with almost always with caps lock on, just screaming. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm unlocking your caps. Oh my God. Release the caps. Release the caps. I ain't going on top of the roof. I'm taking my bike. I mean, you are Dutch, so I do suppose that makes sense. Does this text convey fanciness? I think it conveys being a vampire. I think it conveys being a vampire more. All right. I don't think we need to look at this screen much anymore. So we can just go back to the desk. All right. So yeah, the next goal is going to be the 12-hour stream. And we are 7%. 1% is $10. So that's roughly $70 away. Is that right? Is my math way off? Am I way off? No, 1% is $20. So we're roughly 150 away. Roughly 150 away. Can I check if you have games on your GPS? No, I'm using that to get to our fishing spot. Or some other gothic creature? A gargoyle sending his correspondence to his master. I think we can rent an electroshock machine so we can just shock all the fish. No one got to worry about being bad at fishing. No. No, where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in that? It's all about being a proper fisherman here. I will teach you to fish the way my dad taught me how to fish. We will learn to tie knots. We will have relatively cheap fishing poles, but strangely colorful. Can we play Battleship while fishing? Hold on. Do I need to get... I know what I need to get. We need to bring back the screen. All right, hold on. And then let me get the picture. I need to get... Where is it? There it is. Jesus. Okay. We need the good old Halo art from the last time we had fishing day. Sea or lake or river, all of the above. All of the above. We may jump around. In my defense, officer, the Garmin TOS said nothing about installing Mario Kart. Can I throw the car's battery in the lake because those electric eels need a charge? No, because that car battery is not dead. Therefore, it does not need to go in the ocean. But yes, this is the depiction of how fishing day went last time. I like the one in the back, the one guy in the back that's just like, fish. And I believe, if I remember correctly, last time we showed off this art, we all agreed that Carrie is, in fact, the butt sticking out of the water. Or was that Sunstar? I forget. Did I have it backwards? It's okay, though. We also have... Oh, son of a bitch. We have another one. Where is it? There it is. Son of a bitch. There we go. There we go. There's their other fishing experience, and Halo got his can. Is the one in the tree? Oh, yeah, that's right. I was the one barely able to keep my head above the water. That's it. That's what it was. I caught a fish this big. Oh, my goodness. All right. But yeah, we have a... Yeah, Dracula, how you doing, Hellraiser? Welcome in. Anyway, all right, I think that's enough of that. Put that away. Go away, screen. We're going back to the desk. Please and thank you. Looks like she's done with it all in this one. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? That's also right now the model is like, if I like this is right. This is resting face. I look disappointed at resting face. So like to get the model right now is not as smiley as I want it because I'm like already grinning, but see how it only curves up when I start like talking. To get it to do like a full smile, I have like twist my face like a lot. I'm doing like terrifying like puppetry smiles. Oh, I know the one you're talking about. I know the DJ Cumberbund Dracula. Resting bitch face. Listen, okay. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be dandy. Finally, someone with taste. Listen, these songs come around a lot because this is just my liked song playlist. Well, it's my like song playlist, but it's also like Spotify's like smart shuffle. So sometimes we end up with like cool covers of songs. Am I a spider? No. Why do you ask? Why do you ask? What's the problem? Are you afraid of spiders? What's wrong, kiddo? No, not afraid of spiders. Okay, good. Just had to make sure. Had to make sure. Ain't no problem with that. Ain't no. Where you going, Ordain? Where you going? Where you going, buddy? Where you going? Huh? Huh, bud? It'll be fine. It'll be get out of here, you little like. Wait, when did I say that? Where's Ordain? Where you going, buddy? Where you going? Gotta steal something? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go have fun. But let me see really quick. Chats. Oh. Octoclissy, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. That is one hell of a name. Looks like Burn Scars just hit him with a... Is this what you mean? Were it just like the lashes? The eyebrows? Well, thank you, Steve. How are you doing, bud? Did you make it... Actually, out of curiosity, did you make a decision on... what was it? You made a post... Was it a post or was it... I think it was... Maybe it was just a thing in Discord. Like, I think I'm going to have to swap to Unity at this rate. Have you made the decision? Oh. Oh my god, the drums. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's a good emote too. It's like barnacles. I can see that. I can see that. That makes sense. I might have to ditch Unreal Engine 5. No, that's actually pretty understandable. That's not... That makes sense, especially with like what's been going on in like the VTuber sphere when it comes to essentially basically models. Okay. I could too. I could see it too. But I really liked it. I really liked it. Usually, like, there's some types of like trypophobia that like people like edit and they'll give me like the heebie-jeebies or make me itch all over. You'll ever get that when like something makes you feel gross and your skin gets itchy? Yeah, there's some of those trypophobia pictures that I see that sometimes makes my skin crawl. All the VTuber space is just too powerful not to do Unity. Yeah. Yeah. But it's also with like the growing, what is it? It's essentially power creep. VTubing has essentially developed a power creep at this point. That like every new model that comes out is essentially just getting heavier and heavy. Wait, what is this? Oh my god. But okay. Like when it's bug. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's those. There's also like, I remember when I was like a teenager, there was like pictures going on the internet when people started learning what trypophobia was. Is it trypophobia? I think it's trypophobia. Disney VTuber model will one day shake the earth. Everybody will be guaranteed, if you want to do VTubing, you're going to have 2 PCs. Learning to make environments for Rudo, Motion, and Vignon. Ooh. Ooh. I do want to get a 3D world at some point. Because like the ultimate goal at some point is to be able to do like full body tracking with y'all. And to like walk around and have like a full environment to engage in. That's my ultimate goal. Trypophobia? I know how it's spelled. I just can't remember if it's like hard try, or if it's trypophobia or trypophobia. It could be one or the other. Somebody made a character with their dislikes being garlic? That's illegal. That's illegal. You can't do that. You're not allowed to dislike garlic. I don't care if you're a vampire. I have no idea what this song is. What song is this? Move your body by darkest days. Oh, my darkest days. Okay. We'd need a new ringleader. If you weren't, you can't replace me. You couldn't replace me even if you wanted to. There's not a chance in hell. But, chat, do we want to see the newest Conjuring trailer? It came out quite literally an hour ago. Thanks, Warner Brothers. Oh shit, Barnyard's free on YouTube right now? Nice. Nice. Never replace our ringleader? Hell yeah. One of a kind, baby. One of a kind. Oh, that's the alpha dude. The same group that just porn star dancing with Chad Kroger from Nickelback? What? Huh? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Last ringleader we had left us after we burned her circus tent down? Now wait a goddamn second. Now wait a goddamn second, Censor. That was still me. Do I need to go get the other outfit on? Is that what we need? Do we need the other outfit? Also, fun fact, chat. This model was actually supposed to have the 1.0's haircut too. It had 2.0, which is this hairstyle. And then I wanted to have a toggle for 1.0's hair. And it's made. The model, technically, it has the layer for it. But Rin is expensive as hell to get him to rig hair. It is, I think he told me it is his least favorite thing to rig. They did a song with Kroger. It's what Funky Mint? Oh, okay. Eating the world's smallest sushi. Oh no, another dancing bacon video. Oh, I think I'm just gonna get depressed if we watch that. Abandon us? What do you mean? All right, hold on. We'll just fucking. I still have it. She's right over here. It's fine. She's right here. And for some reason, green. I can still puppet the corpse. Anyway. How long can the video be about tiny sushi? That's a good question. Oh shit, I think I refreshed the page. Oh no, there it is. 12 minutes. Just short of 12 minutes. Because Dancing Bacon typically records like basically the whole meal. Chad Kroger. Oh, son of a bitch. But collab with my darkest days on porn star dancing. Wait, that's a song, isn't it? Did I save that song? Did I have that song added to the list recently? Maybe I did. The emo roommate coven haunting Tumblr. I don't think I want to know what this video is about. Thanks, Strange Aeons. I watched one video on the fucking Grover house, and now I'm just getting her weird Tumblr videos. Fuck. I won't be ordering Magic Spoon again. Yeah, you really shouldn't order Magic Spoon, mainly because the cereal tastes terrible. It's fucking 3 times as expensive as the same cereal. And there's so little in it. Like, I think I got Magic Spoon once because it was at the grocery store. And it was like $8 for a box at the time. Tasted like fucking nothing. Even though it was supposed to be like Fruit Loops. It's just another nightmare in the hollow. Marin's gone. She's dead. How could you? How can you kill that which has no life? Oh no. Wait, is Onigiri doing a challenge where she's making... What was it? Where she's making a fucking, like, a Pokemon every week? She did Venusaur today, and she turned him into... I think it's supposed to be a cake. Do not mourn at the grave you have dug, for she is not there. She did not die. Yeah, it's for cereal. For cereal. Hold on. We can actually look it up. Magic Spoon cereal. And this is probably not going to count like any. Let's go to cereals. We'll pick like cocoa. $39 for 4 boxes. That is basically $10 a box. Grain-free cereal, 0 sugars, 4 net carbs, 13 grams of protein. And I had that cereal once. Once. And I could not care less. Wait, they even have protein cereal now? Wait a second, let's see. But that's still the same 13 grams of protein. Why are these boxes suddenly marketed as high protein cereal / protein cereal? They all have 13 grams of fucking, hold on. Where's the nutrition label? There's the nutrition label. 5 servings per container. Wait, what? Net carbs per serving. 14 grams minus 1 gram of fiber minus 9 grams of allulose that they use for sweetener equals 4 net carbs? What the why are you subtracting your own sweeteners and shit? So their sweeteners for their food is allulose and monk fruit extract. Okay, so they're basically lying. They're using loopholes from the FDA to say that there's no sugar, but there's 9 grams of sugar substitutes. And I promise you, using allulose and like apparently having additional fiber does not reduce your net carbs. But according to them, it does. According to them, it does. See nutrition facts for information on net carb content. FDA does not consider allulose a total or added sugar for nutrition labeling, which is basically just them saying, yeah, anything that ends with ose is a sugar. But allulose is a like glucose substitute. Only certain things are counted technically as sugars to the FDA, even though allulose is obviously a sugar. Let's actually see allulose. What is allulose based from? Found in figs, raisins, wheat, maple syrup, and molasses. So yeah, it's still sugar. It's still sugar. Doesn't monk fruit extract have a weird taste? I don't think so. Monk fruit sweetener. I'm about to say, I'm pretty sure it's just like the sugars from a monk fruit. Hell, it's probably, the allulose is probably actually from, wait, there's a number next to this. Oh, it's this weird S symbol. Adds a trivial amount of sugar. Okay. But you still have 9 grams of allulose. That is also not on your fucking nutritional, hold on, we're gonna look at this. I don't, no, I can't even zoom in. Even trying to zoom in on the website doesn't zoom in on the nutritional facts. It's anytime I see like a YouTuber or something that hasn't had Magic Spoon, I'm always like, this is either a person that has too much money or has not had the cereal or was given the cereal for free. And it's almost certainly the last one. $2 a bowl. That's if you stick with the serving size. I recommend next time, if any of y'all, please, for the love of God, don't shop at Walmart unless you absolutely have to. But if you go to Walmart, I believe Walmart sells it. If not Walmart, maybe Target. Maybe Target sells it. Look at the size of that cereal box, and I promise you, it is smaller than the average cereal box. Here, actually, they have weight in ounces. Let's go find the average box of, say, let's do Raisin Bran. We'll do Raisin Bran. Kellogg's Raisin Bran. The average box of Raisin Bran is, let's see here. I believe this one is the regular box of Raisin Bran. It comes at 14.5 ounces. How many ounces do you think Magic Spoon weighs? I give you a hint. It's less than half. It's less than half the size of the Raisin Bran box. Carnival's own chain of stores. A serving size of this food, it is 7 ounces. 7 ounces is the weight of a Magic Spoon box. 198 grams. Nope, flat 7. 28 items last time I went shopping cost me $78. But expensive thing I got was a deluxe box of Pop-Tarts. It's crazy. Jesus. Yeah, I don't go to Walmart unless the only reason I used to go to Walmart was because it was the only place that sold Chili Crisp. And then recently my grocery store remodeled and expanded their Asian section. So now they have like 16 different kinds of Chili Crisp. I need my Laugen Ma. I bet if I knew what those numbers meant, I'd be shocked. Sunsar. Think of the average size of a cereal box. The average size of a cereal box you see at the grocery store. Now I want Waffle Crisp. Oh no. Kroger, Publix now? Yeah. Or if you have like a state chain, if you have like a local state chain or something, like Food Lion or something. From Big Macs per yeehaw to real units. I mean, most people can still imagine like the average box of cereal because they're usually kind of universally the same. And that average box of cereal size is roughly 14 ounces. Here, we can find, let's do Fruit Loops. We'll look at the weight of Fruit Loops. Here it is. Okay, this one doesn't actually have... Okay, there's multiple sizes here. $16 ounces? Wait, why is this not in order? 43 ounce, how big is the 43 ounces? How big is the 43 ounces? That's a bag though. I'm pretty sure those are the bags of cereal once you get to that size. I do have an Aldi's and a Lidl's near me. Aldi's isn't the worst. Honey Smacks still fuck. Take away my cereal, also getting the Safekes? Safekes? What? What is that? A store brand cereal knockoff, is it? Oh, instead of cereal, it's Safekes. Fuck off. Fuck off. 43 ounces is about 43 ounces, give or take. Ember, you smarmy bitch. Oh my goodness. I'm a fan of mini wheats myself. Oh, eating your Wheaties, are you? I know a number of brands have been reducing the box size now, so they've been saved shipping costs. No, they don't save on shipping costs. They spend the same amount on shipping costs because they just start filling it with more shit. They put in more units of a product so that they can ship more, sell more, therefore get higher product with less amount of shipping. I still like Kix. I don't know what Kix are. It's me, the smarmy bitch. Does Gio know that they married a smarmy bitch? What counts as saving shipping costs because they could move more for same cost? Yeah, I suppose that's technically saving if you're still spending the same amount. It's more like increasing your overhead than necessarily saving. I can't even compete with Dio's level of smart. That's true. That's true. It's always funny too to hear Dio just like in the background when they have something to say. I love it. I love it so much. The shipping costs were too high. Donate to Ko-fi so we can free 1.0. I mean, hey, listen, I can make one of the stretch goals getting 1.0's hair rigged for this. It's already made. I could just make Rin's life a living hell and make him rig long hair. Like, it'd be pretty, it'd be nice. It'd be nice. Oh my goodness. All right. Hold on. What time is it? We're 55 minutes in, which probably means the ad break is close. 6 minutes. 6 minutes till the ad break. All right, we can keep yapping. And then we can do some other stuff. Wait. Wait, binging Babish Culinary Universe made all the Monster Hunter meals? Oh, chat. Chat. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Because we debuted Tuesday, are we gonna make today the food day? Kid tested, mother approved. Kix. Kix, Kix, Kix. Kix cereal. That gave me Kix a band. Oh, I remember Kix. 1937 by General Mills. I never really had Kix. My whole thing, my sugar cereal of choice has always been Captain Crunch. I like Captain Crunch. Weirdly enough, chat, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the berries. The berries are fine. I actually like the little pillowy shaped ones. Kind of like corn pops. Are they? I don't remember what they were supposed to taste like. They're corn puffs. Yeah, they're corn puffs. Just sugary corn puffs, I think. So there's original Kix, which is whole grain, honey Kix, berry Kix. Okay. I can't tell you the last time I had cereal, though. I could not tell you the last time I had a bowl of cereal. Yeah, original Captain Crunch kicks ass. I also like the peanut butter one. Kicks rather bland. I always added sweet and low, which make it so much better. Ah. That shred your mouth? No, I like my cereal soggy. That's like, if I pour a bowl of cereal, I will pour the bowl of cereal, and then sometimes I'll walk away and do something else for like 5 minutes. The peanut butter Captain Crunch is awesome. When I was a kid, we used to get Special K pretty frequently for breakfast. And I would actually let the Special K get so soggy, it was basically a cold oatmeal. Because I like it that way. I like it that way. No. No, I just scrolled down and fucking YouTube showed me. What is it? Moomay's 3D graduation stream. Also, really quick chat. Really quick. Hold on. I want to see if anybody's going to lose their shit over this as I did. A couple of the Hololive girls did a cover of a particular song, and I know the fans are going to recognize it the second said graduate. Everyone panic. Shut up, Fredhead. Honey Bunches of Oats are good too. Honey Bunches of Oats are pretty okay. But hold on. I want y'all to see if y'all realize what song this is that they did a cover for. That's actually pretty decent. All right, let's see. Who's the first person who's going to get it? Who's the first person who's going to get it? I need to know. I need to know who's as big of a fucking nerd as I am. Hey! Furry got it. Furry got it. Turn it down just a little bit more. Wait for it. I want to see if anybody else who recognizes which livers these are. Yep, Digimon Adventure Tribe. This is the Digivolution song. Braveheart. This is a very good song. All right, we're not going to listen to the whole thing. I promise I'm not going to put y'all through that. It's funny, though. There's two of the Hololivers in here. One's Korone, the other one is... I don't know her name. I don't know her name. I don't know her name. She's the... Murasaki? It's Shion. Murasaki's Shion. Okay. But she's... Shion, the tiny girl, is the one with the deeper voice, which is so funny to me. Is anything in the beat? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't do Digimon. The entire series is so messed up. Like, this is for kids. I agree. Who... Okay, random question. But who watched Digimon Tamers as a kid? Yep. Who watched Digimon Tamers as a kid? That shit came on Saturday mornings, and to my little kid brain, it felt like that was a fucking horror show. It was so dark most of the time, just like in animation style, and just grim fucking like coming of age moments. Oh yeah, I agree. Well, okay. Digimon's animes have only gotten worse over time, unfortunately. Like first season, second season, anything between when Digimon Tri came out, and when Digimon Frontier ended is fucking subpar at best. Also, we need to move our shit, guys. We're gonna need to get the screen out here because we're about to have an ad break. Excuse me, pardon me. All right. I am going to give you your words, but I'm not going to go anywhere because we're going to sit here and nerd out for several minutes, probably. All right. But a lot darker than you think, folks. Oh, yeah. Like Digimon Frontier and Digimon Tamers were messed up. And then it was all downhill up until they started remaking the Digimon series, the early ones. Digimon 1 and 2, and then Digimon Tri. Like, those are great. But god damn it, Data Squad? It's so weird. This weird machismo going on through the entire series. And then, like, the fucking Cross Wars. Cross Wars was just terrible. Like, every Digivolution in that series was basically just one Digimon getting other Digimon's parts slapped on him, and it was boring. It was boring as shit. Except for the one scene where they like all of the leaders from all of the previous series all come to help them at the like series finale. Like that was kind of cool. But what else was there? What's the newest one? Like the newest one is a gacha app. Like it's built around gacha games. And this weird, like some of the Digimon are kind of cool, but from what I've seen, apparently like you have to know the name of the attacks to get your Digimon to do the attacks in this series. But also the name of the attacks are like installed into your brain at the right moment when you need to use them, which is like the weirdest fucking thing. Frontier after or before? Was Frontier after or before? Frontier was after Tamers. Frontier was the one that was after Tamers, and it's the one where the kids turned into the Digimon. Hear about the anniversary audio drama thing where they got the original writer to write the script? Huh? Are you talking about the short, are you talking about the fairly, like the couple minute long animation anniversary thing they made showing off like the first two generations? Ordain, where you going there, buddy? Where you going there, champ? What trouble you getting into? I'm still annoyed. I can't remember what I was going to change. There was a thing I was going to change. What were you? What were you? Tell me your secrets. Really was the main one that got the coolest fusion designs, except they were also lame. Coolest does not actually mean that they were baseline cool. I was so bored looking at the Digimon and all of the forms for like Cross Wars. That shit was lame, dude. That shit was lame. Am I not allowed to sneak around? Well, it depends on if you're up to no good. And you're ordained, so therefore you probably are. So, are you going to explain? Well, Mr. Ordain, Monsieur. Oh my goodness. The Dove of Savers was heavily edited. The original Japanese had a Digimon suicide bomb. He went, holy shit. Can I hide Ordain in my hat? Am I not allowed to do anything? No, I'm just checking on you. What are you going to do, Ordain? I can't let you go burning the whole circus down again. That's not allowed. There was something where the original voice actors came together to read a thing that was probably a couple years ago. The writer had gone nuts in the meantime. It was almost literally like the digital world was undertaken by woke. Is this one of the original writers, or is this like one of the original Japanese writers, or was this one of the original like 4Kids editor writers? Let's make each Digimon a modular toy that you have to buy in order to smash them all together. Yes, exactly. That is exactly what it felt like. It felt like lame, like Transformers toys that you're expected to buy like 16 of in order to get like. That reminds me, when I was a kid, I had a Wormmon toy that I really liked, and I miss it. I miss my Wormmon toy. It was an original writer from Tamers. What? An original writer from the season of Digimon about four teenagers minimum, as well as Digimon overcoming who they think they are or forced to be at heart, as well as abuse and fucking grief, thinks that Digimon has been taken over by woke. Somebody needs to hit him with a bat. Oh my goodness. All right, we can put the words away. We can juice, yes. And I can slide over just a little bit. All right, chat. Actually, we can go a little bit bigger. There we go. Wait, what is that? What is you swinging? Oh, it's a slipper. It's a slipper. Okay. I hope you've having a good stream. Hi, Civet. How are you doing? Also, let's be honest, Digimon made a lot of furries. You can't deny you wanted to... No. Not at all. What the fuck do you take me for? How dare you? How dare you? So says Furry Champ. This is a magic conch. That ain't a slipper. Is it a magic conch? Oh, it is. It is a shell. Okay, I thought it was a slipper. It looked like a pink slipper for a second. Dude, Gulamon. Huh? Hold on. Gulumon. Oh, you're thinking of Guilmon. Guilmon, right? Is that what you're thinking of? What the fuck is the Gulamon? I was gonna say it's Guilmon, isn't it? I was gonna say, is that the one you're thinking of? The red dragon? The main character's partner? I misspelled? Okay, just had to make sure. Just had to make sure. Oh, fuck, sweet lord. I hard. What? Okay. That's a nice boat. That is a nice boat. All right. Permanent wet. Oh, you motherfucker. How could you? What did I do to deserve this? Huh? Huh? Why did Digimon and Bakugan both give the MC a red dragon? Do you want to know the reason? Do you want to know the real reason? It's the same reason that like protagonists almost always have swords. If you have a protagonist that has a weapon, it is 99% of the time going to be a fucking sword. Comfy is AoE and dot. Oh my god. Because the red dragon is iconic. It's iconic. So to have somebody controlling a red dragon gives them this hero persona. Beastmon and Mastamon, I first saw in Digimon World 3, and it was just... Wait. Mastamon didn't come out until Cyber Sleuth. Mastamon's a Cyber Sleuth exclusive. I'm pretty sure. Pretty fucking sure. Yes, the common red dragon. I only see guns. Yeah, guns. I just take heads off from miles away. In the office, at least, yeah. I mean, I have my robot arm. Here, like, my robot arm's right there. That may or may not be something in the future. Maybe. Maybe. All right. Monsuno felt like a fever dream caused by child me. Monsuno. Was Monsuno the... Was that the Lego thing? Oh no, what the fuck was this? Was this another like attempt at a kid's game of things like in pods? Is that what this is? I do remember Bakugan. I did try to play Bakugan when I was a kid. I had a decent collection. And then they went off the fucking deep end when they started releasing like different shaped Bakugan that weren't spheres anymore. My deck is almost 2 decades old. I'm long out of that these days because I'm hairy as a gorilla. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, Bastamon. Gotcha. Aaron keeps a Gundramon and a Mashidramon in the carnival. She just in case. No, I don't. Was the Age of Amon? Yes, it was. Yeah, Mastamon was the Age of Amon Lady Devimon fusion. They made cubes. They made like pyramids. Here, let me see. Bakugan shapes. There's the cylinder one. Oh my god, the cylinder ones. I still think to this day, though, the one that I cared about the most out of like all of the Bakugan was actually one of the original ones, and it was the Scorpion one. I had one of the green Scorpion Bakugans that just like unfolded into 2 half spheres. I guess forgive yourself? Never. Never. We will suffer into eternity. But yeah, I don't know if anybody actually remembers playing Bakugan. Because when we started to learn how to play Bakugan, we realized that like the rules were extremely jank. So they had similar rules to where it was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, you got to land it on a card. And if you like share the card with somebody, then you have to fight them and all that jazz. But I remember in the rules at one point, it was if you shoot your Bakugan and you miss the cards, like you don't land on any of the cards and it doesn't open, then you lose. That Bakugan technically like dies and is removed from the game. I only watched the original Bakugan anime, so did I. I only saw the original and then like a little bit of after they started releasing the different shaped Bakugan. I got gifted Bakugan, I never played it. Oh, I was kind of obsessed with them for a little while as a kid because I just thought they were so neat. Granted, that doesn't help that as a kid, I was also really into, oh, what was it? Got removed from the game? I have also just lost the game. You're welcome. You're welcome. Starts taking measurements about the scorch the high magpie. Listen, just ask Kono. Kono can probably tell you all of the measurements from memory. I don't know the measurements. Don't think I ever had the cards, just a few of the toys. Well, the toys usually came with some cards. I'm pretty sure they did. I wonder if they still sell Bakugan. I wonder if I go to like Walmart or Target, if I could find Bakugan. All right, chat. Welcome in today. We're doing an opening pack of these Bakugan. Dr. Mo, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Or is it Dermo? Is it Dr. Mo? Is it Dermo? Okay. Okay, that is a very shitty Photoshop. That's probably it. Nah, he's usually pretty good at sussing other things out. I mean, let's see here. I mean, what did that hit? Wait, what did that? Hold on a second. What does that look like? Okay, well, it's in the right place. Huh. Odd. Very odd. Oh, whoops. No, do not open Google Chrome. Pretty please and thank you. I got that big hit box. It's okay, I hit harder. Diamond shaped? Yeah, I noticed that too. It's actually kind of funny. Hello to my school years. This is one of my favorite songs by The Offspring. Mountain, Fairbanks. How's the void? I must know about the void. And how goes the animation? How goes the animation, goofball? Oh no, those changes are going to be a pain to replicate, but it'll be so worth it. I mean, yeah, it's also, yeah, I realize it's become a massive hassle for the chains. And as much as I like having chains and stuff, and I just like change in the design, they're probably going to be gone after 2.0. So like all of the side designs, like the summer one that's coming, I may still have the cuffs with it, but I don't think I'm going to have the chains, because every person I've had has been like, oh, that's going to be really complicated to draw, and then that's going to be really complicated to rig. A and B of the movie Wanted. I don't remember that movie off the top of my head. He is very soft. Good. Excellent. Ordain, no, you're slowly turning into... Never mind. Okay. Chats, do we want to see this new Conjuring trailer? That could curve... What? Oh, did they select a new pope? Oh, shit. Hold on. New pope. New pope was elected. Okay. 2 hours ago. Cardinal Robert Prevost was elected in a surprise choice to be the new leader of the Catholic Church on Thursday, taking the name Leo XIV, becomes the first U.S. pontiff. He appeared on the central balcony of St. Peter's Basilica after white smoke had billowed from a chimney atop the Sistine Chapel, signifying the 133 cardinal electors had chosen a new leader for the 1.4 billion member Catholic Church. How old is he? Robert Francis Prevost. He was born in 55, so he is 70? He'll be 70 this year. He'll be 70... in September. Yeah, he'll be 70 in September. Let me guess. No, probably not. I don't think so. It's very unlikely. You'd be surprised. Originally from Chicago, spent most of his career as a missionary in Peru and became a cardinal only in 2023. He's given a few media interviews and rarely speaks in public. President Trump swiftly congratulated Prevost on becoming the first U.S. Pope. What excitement and what a great honor to our country. I look forward to meeting Pope Leo XIV. It'll be a very meaningful moment. The thing is, though, typically, when it comes to like popes and cardinals and stuff, high members of the clergy kind of abandon like their patriotism. These guys typically aren't patriotic. Hi, Willow. How are you doing? I'm not surprised. He hates him. Francis enacted a range of reforms. Okay, this is about the previous pope. Divisive issues such as women's ordination, better inclusion of LGBT Catholics, LGBTQI. It's tough. Prevost becomes the 267th Catholic pope after the death of last month of Pope Francis, who was the first Latin American pope and had led the church for 12 years and widely sought to open the state institution up to the modern world. Leo thanked Francis in his speech and repeated his predecessor's call for a church that is engaged with the modern world and is always looking for peace, charity, and being close to people, especially those who are suffering. Unlike Francis, who spurned much of the trappings of the papacy, Prevost wore a traditional red papal garment over his white cassock. Last pope to take the name Leo led the church in 1878 to 1903 and was known for his devoted focus to social justice issues and is often credited with laying the foundation of modern Catholic social teachings. Aw. But yeah, this guy spent more of his life as a missionary in Peru than he did probably more in staying in Chicago. I don't know much about funerals. Is there an acceptable color? Usually black. Usually black's the expected color at like Catholic funerals. If you go to Christian or Catholic funerals, it's the expectation is you're probably going to wear black. And if you go to a wedding, you don't wear black. Don't wear black to a wedding. If the people are religious, mind you, if the people are religious. If you like me and you were raised in Texas and you didn't have much of a choice in your religious upbringing, you still tend to learn things even after you give it up. Waiting for the Pope-themed pizza from Chicago. Can we get a Pope-themed deep dish pizza? Hello. It's been a time, but I'm happy to see you. Hell yeah. It's good to see you too. Pope pizza. The Popesa. It's the Popesa. Deep dish Pope, let's go. Oh no, y'all are gonna cook the Pope. Yes, Carrie? Why are we yelling? What's the Pope's favorite meal? Uh-oh. Carrie's making a joke. All right, everybody get into your seats. Carrie's making a joke. A symbol for Carrie's joke. Oh, god damn it. Megalodon Wolfric. Oh no. All right, spin the wheel, spin the wheel. You know what? I don't think I'd be too bad if it ended up on Chef's Club today. Except it's not gonna land on Chef's Club. Time out someone else. All right, Wolfric, you get to pick somebody to time out. It cannot be a mod or a VIP. CM Punk officially challenged for nickname of Second City Saints. Oh god, all right. Potpourri, boo! Boo! I can't go in timeout. I'm cute. Hold on, I'm looking for Woozer. Is Woozer here? Did I miss? Oh, there he is. Sorry, Mr. Woozer, you're getting shots. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Please don't be mad. It's part of the game. Fuck no, I remember the episode where Rick Morgan and Bigfoot fought the Pope. Any last words, Woozer? Wow. Any last words? Is your last words gonna be wow lol? Amazing. I would believe you. Time me out, coward. Oh, 7. I regret nothing. Excellent. Excellent. We'll see you in 10 minutes, Woozer. Thank you for playing along. 07s. 07s for Woozer chat. And we're guns. 07s are... Wait, what is this? Oh, Jesus. Oh, all right. Chats. Are you ready? We're gonna go check out. We are gonna check out the new Conjuring trailer. Let's get a little bit smaller. That'll do. That'll do. All right. Gotta grab this doohickey. And this doohickey. All right. Chat, how many of y'all have seen the Conjuring series? Be honest. Oh, Newt Penguin? Oh no, Newt Cyber. Uh-oh. Boop! No, don't shoot Willow. How could you? Only seen one movie? So if y'all know anything about the Conjuring series is the one that, for some fucking reason, or wait, that's not The Exorcist. I'm pretty sure the Conjuring is the one I'm thinking of. This is, yeah, Warren. Yeah, you can see it on the mailbox here on the right. So this is the movie series that essentially glorifies Ed and Lorraine Warren as heroes, even though they are guaranteed, promised, and proven fraudsters. But we may do something. We'll probably do a movie series where we marathon all of the Conjuring movies. Like, this movie will probably come out, and then we will watch all of the current movies available. I will probably go to the theater to see Last Rites. And then I will make a video on it because there are reasons that I want to make a video on this involving the Satanic Panic and how Ed and Lorraine Warren essentially took control of the narrative for themselves to profit off of it. Went from a horror to an action adventure with gore for the sequel. Wait, is the sequel out? The thing is, I think Warner Brothers is making, I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers was the one that was making Megan. And they very, very much want Megan, no matter how bad the fucking movies are, to be like the next Jason. They want her. They want her to be the next like horror icon. And they are forcing it any way they can. If you've been here a while, you remember last Halloween when we watched the Universal Halloween thing? Their main attraction and their main attention grabber was Megan. They had like 16 people on any given night dressed as Megan running around chasing people. It's so fucking uncomfortable, dude. Like, I remember seeing the gifs of like, what's a Megan? You did this. You did this. Or what is it? Is it... Yeah, I was going to say Mithrigan is what Okay, let's see. We'll do the long one. That's SNL. That's why. So if anybody doesn't know what Megan is originally from the first movie, Megan is a toy. She was supposed to be like an AI controlled toy that would play with your kids and stuff. And the one test one that the creator decided to take home went absolutely batshit.
I'll admit, there were some bugs in my programming.
But it's so fucking cheesy.
Don't blame me for that.
And then you have this weird dance.
But one thing has Super Tech Katie.
These are all scenes from the first movie.
What the hell is this? You put me in this plastic Teletubby?
Prove you can be trusted, maybe we'll give you an upgrade.
Okay. I haven't seen this trailer. I only saw the teaser.
Hunting an autonomous android named Amelia. She was built using your design for Megan.
Huh?
Possible. You deleted it.
Apparently you didn't.
Wait, is that
Can stop her.
for a second that sounded like
Killing anyone who's contributed to her creation.
that's not Scarlett Johansson, is it?
You and Katie are next.
I know how to stop Amelia. She's getting more powerful. Soon she'll be the most dangerous weapon on the
I
planet.
hate this. I hate
Put
this.
me in a body and I'll help you stop her.
You remember what happened last time? You threatened to rip out my tongue and put me in a wheelchair.
I was upset.
Look, she
That didn't even look like the right fucking like mouth sync.
Second chance.
You would like us.
They're leading on the comedy. They're leading on like the weird like fucking super action nonsense. But it's weird that they went for like a horror. Ow.
Time to give you an upgrade.
Hi, Ghost.
Anything you'd like to add?
I want to be stronger, faster.
Hi, Alita Battle Angel.
Hey, so remember the time I strangled you and set the lab on fire? I want you to know that won't happen again.
Thank you so much.
I still want to do it.
Make me taller.
But then you dress her like a child again.
Let's get to work.
Well, look who came out to play.
I was programmed to protect Katie. The only question is, are you going to stand in my way? Hold on to your vaginas.
What the
I don't
fuck?
care if she did kill 4 people. She is a smoking hot warrior princess.
I'll make you a deal. You can kill Gemma, but don't touch Katie.
Megan.
I kind of want to kill myself. I think. Do I drink it away? Or do I just krill myself? I kind of just want to. Not only did this trailer go on way too fucking long, like at no point should they have revealed that they gave Megan a new body. If they wanted to make a decent trailer, they should have just left her in like the tiny doll and like made people think that she was just gonna be like an assistant the whole time. This movie's gonna flop. This movie is gonna fucking flop. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Yeah, that was the whole movie. We just saw the whole movie. We even saw they even gave us the dumbass combat twist where it looks like Megan's getting her ass kicked and so she's like, you know what, you can have everybody else, just let me have Katie. Why did you include that? Why did you include that? Why the vagina? Why the vaginas? Has the horror movie turned into this? I need less drugs or more of the old ones? I think they need more of the old ones. I think we need to go back to like the 70s and 80s where cocaine is rampant. Give you the whole movie. I hate it. I hate it so much. It became a thing with horror movies and now it's also became a thing with like action movies. I can't stand it. Like I liked Longlegs because I went into that movie having no idea who the villain was. I had no fucking clue. I didn't even know that movie was a Nicolas Cage movie until I was sitting in the fucking theater. Actually, hold on. This just reminded me. Right here, Until Dawn. We'll get to The Conjuring in a bit, guys. I promise. Who knows the game? Who knows the game Until Dawn? Blumhouse isn't smart. They just shit out as many movies as fuck as possible, hoping something sticks. In old movies and touch grass. Good touching grass. Good job touching grass. I don't touch grass. Building IKEA furniture for my parents and my dad. Hey, go rewash your stuff because I didn't put it in the dryer like I said. What? So the game for it's one of Wendigos. Yes, this is the game with Wendigos. Until Dawn was originally take place on a mountaintop where two twins go missing. Their bodies are never found, and the friend group and their brother, their only surviving brother, goes back to the ski lodge at the 1-year anniversary to relive it. In it, there's a slasher, there's all that jazz. It's fine time, spoilers. Until Dawn is old. Ray, welcome in. How was your stream? Welcome in, Raiders. It was a very good game. It was a very, very good game. The remake that they did recently they kind of fucked it. It really didn't need a remake. It was already gorgeous. Cash Cleaner Simulator. Are you laundering money, you little cats? But welcome in, Raiders. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Maren. I'm the ringleader of the Dark Carnival. I usually play games that are usually dark, spooky, terrifying, or just whatever little inclination I like to get to. Hi, Ash. What do you call Until Dawn old makes me die? No. I'm relating it to old and new because there was a remake recently, Ash. There's the remake, which was kind of dookie. Thank you. Ash, I'm coming for your ass someday. Someday when I can afford your shit, you will be mine. Your ass will be mine. That's the dream. That's the dream live 2D model right there. Don't you fucking forget it. Look, it's only called money laundering if you're not rich when you're doing it. True. But no, the thing with enjoy your lurk, Ordain. The thing with this, with the game is that's what you would typically expect, right? You typically expect like maybe this movie is going to be a rendition of like that ski lodge, them being attacked by Wendigos, all that jazz. No, it's not that. It's not that. But you know, we'll watch the trailer here, and you'll see, you'll understand. I promise you, you'll understand very quickly. Those aren't ski mountains.
For my sister. Does she look familiar to you?
Also, real quick,
She's gone.
this guy, this is the therapist. This is the guy that plays the therapist in the original game. This is the voice actor and the face for the therapist throughout the Until Dawn game. It's already out, Ash. It's already out, and it's bad. It's so fucking bad.
Up the road. That's why people get into trouble.
See, look, the mystical something. For some reason, the rain just
We're the
stops.
first people here in years.
Mine axes or something. Some weird hourglass on the wall for whatever reason.
That's my sister's signature.
Yeah, that gets like progressively worse. And see, there's all these missing people boards. Okay, I guess we have the missing people situation.
Where's Megan?
Still raining. Oh, hey, there's the murder guy from the original game. Except in the game, it was the brother pulling pranks, but not in this one. Bear trap. Did you figure it out? Did you figure out what they've done to this? It's a fucking time loop movie. They turned it into Cabin in the Woods plus time loop. With the goal of surviving until dawn. That's it. That's the whole shebang.
What the fuck just happened?
They have to survive till dawn.
Murder. And now we're here.
And see, there's the time thing again.
Can repeat itself.
I don't
Okay,
remember
power's
what
out.
happened Last time.
Yeah, because it's different every time. No idea who the old lady's supposed to be. Unless it's a reference to the mental asylum from the game. And I'm going to spoiler this for you guys, because you should not go to this movie. You should not give them your money. I'm going to spoiler the shit out of this movie. See, there's your Wendigo. There's a giant for some reason. And apparently, the more times you die and the more times it repeats, the more it slowly drives you and turns you into a Wendigo. Also, you saw the thing about her sister in the writing. This is where her sister went missing.
Past 13 nights.
There's your sister. That's her sister. They couldn't even be fucked to stick with the original game of where like the sister gets turned into a Wendigo and she just kind of looks like any other Wendigo minus her tattoo. Instead, they went with this weird ass zombie shit. This is the sister. You only learn that because she's wearing the same outfit as the sister from the prologue of the movie.
What is that?
That I'm pretty sure is the sister. There's the regular Wendigo. There's the worm.
Yeah. Oh, what? Is it gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
What? It's still in my face!
Yeah, that felt like a fucking college film scene. There's also a point that I'm surprised they didn't show because in the movie there's a whole night. The house doesn't have water for the longest time, and then one night it suddenly gets water. So people start drinking the water because they're thirsty as shit after multiple hours of trying to survive. And then they explode. Like, it's not even like, well, technically, I'll get to that in a second. So the girl that had the worm in her face, she's the main character. She's basically, I think her name's Clover in the movie. Why, I will never know. Nobody should be named Clover except by like a nickname. But no, they go from like drinking the water and doing stuff to literally just turning into like blood splats. That's it. Like they're just everywhere, except you get this extremely uncomfortable, gross, and like weird kind of throwback to like Warlock, where the main girl, instead of like exploding in one big go like everybody else, just turns into like bags of blood. Her leg blows up, she falls to the ground, and then her stomach inflates and then explodes. It's so uncomfortable and makes no fucking sense. Clover, I know that video game studio. It feels like a mix of like, I don't know, the original Evil Dead and like Cabin in the Woods, but they flubbed it. They absolutely flubbed it by trying to take the Until Dawn name. Supposedly, it's not this sudden inflation. So apparently at the end, the only hint that you get at the lodge is that apparently it's like some supernatural corporation or network or something. So you get this scene with security cameras where it's looking at the house that we see in this movie. And then all of a sudden those security cameras all switch over and it's looking at what seems to be the ski house from the original game. So they're trying to do like this weird tie-in that like this is actually a prequel to the game, but it's supposed to also be the game, but it's not. I don't know. I don't understand. It sounds kind of funny. It's a good drinking movie. If you want to watch it and take drinks with your friends, where like you could take a drink where like it strays from the canon or where it's actually faithful to the game or something. Look, guys, references. Got the name on their desk and then got the next 6 scripts rejected. All right. Let's go check out The Conjuring. I'm pretty sure this is called Last Rites. I'm pretty sure this one is specifically about a haunting at Ed and Lorraine's place, I think. Oh yeah, it's very gory. It's very gory.
Everything you see in here is either haunted,
the crooked man. Oh shit.
cursed, or been used in
Okay, yeah, these are all from the previous movies.
Nothing's a toy.
Hi, Annabelle.
Not even the toys.
Yeah, so if y'all didn't know, hold on a second. If y'all didn't know, Ed and Lorraine Warren used to run the biggest cursed. They have really good production quality. I will give them that. The thing is, Ash, these movies are good, But they're only good because they're propaganda. I'm not joking. If y'all didn't know, The Conjuring is both propaganda for the Catholic Church and for Ed and Lorraine Warren. That is it. It is Catholic Church propaganda and Ed and Lorraine propaganda. They're good. They're good quality. They're good. They're some of the best fucking paranormal movies out there. But there's a reason for that.
How many cases you guys had?
But yeah, Ed and Lorraine Warren actually used to own a museum of cursed items. Like some of the most obscene cursed items in the world. Do you want to know who owns it now? I'll give you a hint. It's this dude. This guy owns most of their collection now. Just in case you didn't know that. Yeah, Douche Baggins. Boy, howdy. Yeah, Douche Baggins owns it, and he runs it as a for-profit, like, haunted item museum. Anyway, he looks like a tech bro douche. He's always looked like that. The True Case Files. Sure it is. Sure it is. But all of the Conjuring movies weigh on the fact that the average audience does not know Ed and Lorraine Warren are complete bullshit.
There's no going back. Anything can happen.
Don't explode. Oh. Oh.
And most likely anything will.
Okay. Yeah. Oh shit, it comes out in September? Okay. That means I could have the video out for Halloween. Ooh. Ooh. Plenty of time to get it done and do that fucking marathon.
Something's changed.
That's what was written down by these crazies? Correct. Exactly.
Something's different.
This is what happened according to these people. Classic. Classic. Was there last? Sure. Sure. It totally wasn't because after this they were found out to be frauds. Define patiently. You ever being such wonderful extras? Ed and Lorraine seem to have a lot of ghosts hanging around their house. Yeah. Well, no, I don't think this is their house. I think this is a different family. So, like, it showed their house, but I think that was just a setup to, like, we'll probably get, like, an introduction to basically all of their stories is what I think that scene's going to be right here.
Anything will.
No, go back. Hold on. So this is them arriving, and then this is the family. I'm going to guess that this is, like, their house. If those objects are cursed, none of these exorcism worked. Exactly. Last bit with demonic voices reminds me of the scene from Castlevania cartoon where demons get into the church. We love you very much. You can't come in here. This is the house of God. God? No. God doesn't love you. But we love you so much. Exorcists, not ghost hoarders. There you go. That's where you're at. Now you're getting it. Dildo gagging. God hates you, but you're a dickhead. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was very good. That was a very good scene. Here, just so that some people here, we'll show some people who haven't seen it. This is a very good scene. This was a very good series. I enjoyed the series. I haven't seen the newest season with like the new characters. Lies in your house of God. And here's our priest. Yeah, I don't remember, but I think he's supposed to be a cardinal or like a bishop. like his smile here. Also, this version is a little grainy. I'm sorry, Chance.
Who's that? Are the speakers dead?
I don't think so.
Well, get back out there. The speakers have to die before the sun goes down.
The sun is already down.
Oh, the monsters. Use the execution, yeah, to get the title of Archbishop. That's what it was.
Cannot enter the house of God.
God is not here. This is an empty box.
Oh.
God is in all his churches.
Your God's love is not unconditional. He does
Correct.
not love us. And he does not love you.
This is an empty box.
Done his bidding. My life's work is in his name.
Your life's work makes him puke.
Considering he technically killed an innocent woman of a loving husband.
Knows that we wouldn't be here without you. This is all your fault, isn't it?
She was a witch.
Lies in your house of God.
In your house of God.
He has abandoned you. But we love you.
I don't remember following you, but you're pretty high. Thank you, Night Rose. Welcome in.
We couldn't
Welcome
be
in, welcome
here
in.
without you.
God, some of the monster scenes in this were so good.
Kiss you.
Nom, 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 nom. Snack. Snack. All right, hold on real quick. We can do... Where is it? Where's not? Delicious. Delicious. Oh, I'm so glad you've learned your place, chat. Why do you do this to me? Why do you do this to me? Lies in my Christian Minecraft server. Oh no. Oh no. All right. All right. What else? What else do we have? Do we want to move on to food, or do we want to see if I can find some other trailers? Actually, here, I know what we're gonna do. I want to show the example of. Let me hide this real quick. Of a decent. Let me see. I want the trailer for Longlegs. Oh no! Wait, this one's longer than all the trailers that I saw. Huh. Oh, okay. Okay, we're gonna watch the trailer for Long Walk 2. I forgot that came out yesterday. Can be quite eloquent and smart for a while after this. Then there's the have a berry conversation. Oh, yeah. Nightborn, a devil in the series that basically explains he went to hell simply for condemning someone else during his torture while he was alive. Wasn't that the Fly guy? Right? That was the Fly guy after he like resurrected him, the Smith guy. Ah, oh, son of a bitch. Yeah, I think I was wrong. I think maybe I just saw like the teaser trailers and stuff for Longlegs, because I'm looking at the official trailer right now, and it immediately shows one of the things that I don't remember seeing in the trailer. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe Longlegs also did fuck it with their trailers. Instead, though, who wants to see a Stephen King trailer? If y'all didn't know, this is The Long Walk, a movie. I believe it's coming out actually later this year. Based off of a book from Stephen King, and I believe it was like the 80s. I think the book was based after, it's either named after a character, it's like Richard something like that. You found out some were cursed philosophers and have full-on philosophical conversations. It's very much quite interesting. Yeah. And that's the point too, where like you find out in like Castlevania how little a thing you can do that can piss off God and condemn you to hell. I'm gonna turn the volume down a little bit. Yeah, this seems fine, right?
To inspire everyday people.
Smile, boys. You're on candid camera. Man, you gotta not think about the things out of your control. Think about your plan.
Personally, I can't stop thinking about all that money.
Okay. Is this based in Maine? No.
I'm the last of my kind.
Warning. Okay, just keep walking. That's right. Just keep walking. Yeah, that's it, kid. That's it.
Is he cramping?
Second warning. Third warning.
There it is. Welcome to the long walk, ladies and gentlemen. Do not walk slower than 3 miles an hour. Do not stop.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a
Baton
city
Death Watch,
to
kind of.
burn.
Except these guys, I think, volunteered. I'm pretty sure they volunteered.
Walk until there's only.
But I also don't know if this is like post-apocalyptic.
Who's ready to win?
Yeah, it took me a while to realize the truth of this.
Kippy, that's a blind cat.
You'll walk as long as you can. But sometimes
The thing is, I don't know the like,
won't listen.
what is it?
Some, your heart will stop. For others, your brain. And the blood will flow suddenly.
Is he going to pee? What was that?
There's one winner.
Why are they collapsing?
And no finish line.
Yep. Being the one guy who dies first because he was trying to stupid and didn't know. Oh! Oh! The thing is, I need an explanation. I don't know the book that this comes from, so I don't know like why this is necessary, why they have to do this, how they got like roped into it. They all seemed so excited at the beginning. Yeah, I was thinking it was maybe Sonic Weapon because they also did have like the kind of sound going at the same time. The walk is an annual contest. Okay. I figured it was some sort of like dystopian thing, considering like at one point they were on a highway and there was no cars. But, and I think those are the only horror trailers that I know of right now. Let me go see real quick. Let me see if I can find something. Let me see if I can find a list of horror movie trailers that came out recently. Oh, Together. Shit, I don't remember. Together, though, was the codependency movie, isn't it? Hi, Rama, thank you. And so Mr. Beast copies this, which, The Long Walk? The movie's going to come out, and then Mr. Beast is going to do the same thing, except he's totally not going to execute the people. Totally. If I have to walk, they're walking too. Was the metaphor for the Vietnam War? I figured. How to Ruin Your Gotcha vid is nice. Breaks down how the devs fucked up. Oh, I did. I'm pretty sure I saw that. Wait, what did they do to Infinity Nikki? I've been seeing people complain about it and a lot of people stop playing it, but what's the deal? The implorability? Oh no. Totalitarian regime of it in... Okay. Gone full totalitarian regime. This contest held every year, 100 men until only one is left. There's a bunch of rules and things, but that's spoilers. Well, they covered it in this like really fast. It's basically like you can't walk slower than 3 miles an hour. You can't stop for any longer than a certain amount of time. I guess it seems to be like 3 warnings. Will be canceled and never come out after mentally torturing the participants. Yep. I mean, what is it? Beast Games are still available, aren't they? And isn't he being sued for that? I'm pretty sure he is. I'm pretty sure. Not 100% on that, but only pretty sure. But I'm looking to see if Lionsgate has released any other trailers. Girl, most likely. Well, this is 2012. Oh, it's the full movie. Oh, shit. House of D, too, is also fully on Lionsgate. Holy shit. Three Generations, House of D, Bart Got a Room, Trading Mom, Diablo. Everything's going to be great. Wick is Pain. Oh, that's the trailer. That's the trailer. That's the trailer for, I guess, a documentary on Keanu Reeves playing John Wick. No. No, 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 no. There's gonna be another Now You See Me movie?
In the world of...
Oh my God. Oh my God. Please, 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 please. Chat. I love this series so much. It's so enjoyable. It's so enjoyable. It's such a fun series. I did not know that there was making a third movie. This one's Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
In the world of magic.
I also love the spectacle of these movies. They're so good.
It is very good to be back.
I used to look like a dweeb.
Come up, you're gonna be our helper.
Okay. Disappear in 3, 2, 1. J. Daniel Atlas in the house. Who wants to see a magic trick?
The thing too is at the end of the last movie, they seem to have joined like a secret society of where like magic is real.
For some reason, I need you.
Why not the other horsemen?
The other horsemen are dead.
Oh my God, what?
No, they're like dead to me. Things got too real for them. They gave up. Stop interrupting. I'm talking about a trick that is bigger and better than
Wait, they're leaving Woody Harrelson out of this? I'm upset. I need 2 Woody Harrelsons per movie.
The Heart Diamond. It's the most valuable jewel in history.
But what makes this diamond so special?
Is it?
A magical tarot card told us.
Oh my God, please tell me this is gonna be another fucking heist movie. Another magician heist movie?
Dealers, traffickers, to help launder their money.
If you want to stop the devil, don't
Oh,
lift her hands.
okay.
Lift her wallet.
Open sesame.
Still safe with me.
Relax. Diamonds are forever.
Stop him!
Oh God, we're gonna get action scenes.
Jack, what are you doing here?
Wait, guess who's back? Sick.
Henley Reed?
Fanboy later.
Hi, guys. Hi. I don't know you.
Let's go.
Okay. Okay, I like this. Simply for not calling the second one Now You Don't.
Walk together for a reason.
That's true.
Gummies kicked in.
Bring down 2 generations of criminals with a single sleight of hand.
And we get Morgan Freeman's voice in this movie.
Worldwide criminal network. I like our chances.
Ah, yes, there's our boy. Okay, I like this.
You enjoying the show?
Shall we get on?
I think Thaddeus is gonna die in this movie. I don't know. I have the vibe that like he's gonna get like gunned down.
Open sesame.
Way to represent, Merritt.
Worth a try, was it? Never know. I think you do know.
I mean, didn't he just use that same trick earlier? TLDR unannounced a retcon story, red story pricing, microtransactions, and other small stuff. But yeah, I did not know this movie was coming. This is one of my favorite series, like for fun movies out there. It's just so goofy, but it's also like such a cool spectacle. I do get my Woody Harrelson. That is true. I'm getting one Woody Harrelson, which is actually kind of fine because the second Woody Harrelson from the second movie was insufferable. Anyway, Lionsgate movies. Hold on, let's see. Is there anything else that I missed? The Matador, no. Shadow Force, don't know what that is. My Week with Marilyn, that's the whole movie. The voices! Wow, I did not realize Lionsgate was suddenly uploading like all of their movies up here. Kick-Ass 15th Anniversary Unmasked Edition, Jesus. But Riff Raff. 4, I can only remember 2. Wait, 4. Is that Nicolas Cage? Gunslingers? Are we getting an old Western Nicolas Cage movie? Yes, what can I do for you? Hi, Ember. What can I do for you? What trouble are you getting into? What shenanigans are you up to? Is anything on fire? Wait, I don't know if Ordain's here. I think Ordain's still lurking. 4. I thought you said 4. Me heard most likely. 4. I mean, there's gonna that's third. That's the third Now You See Me movie. Old West Cage. All right, we'll look at that in a minute. We have about 1 minute until the ad break, though, guys. I am going to pause it here really quick. And we are going to be back in a couple minutes. Mainly because I have to run to the bathroom and I'm kind of hungry, so I'm going to try to down a snack. It looks wild. The Gunslingers movie, I'm kind of excited to see it, see what it's like. Just because, like, Nicolas Cage has really been killing it with his roles recently. Like, that man has been, like, nailing it one after the other since probably like 2 or 3 years ago. So I don't know if something woke up in him, but Jesus, my guy, Jesus. But I'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. I'm gonna go grab a snack. I may go try and scarf down the leftovers of that cheesy Balduc chicken I made last night, but I will see you in a couple minutes. I think he paid off his back taxes. That makes sense. So crazy that he was long legs and didn't know what it was till I watched it. I didn't know he was in that movie until I went to the theater either, Ash. I did not know it was a Nicolas Cage movie until I was at the movie theater. All right, chat. I'm sorry that took so long. I'm on the wrong side. I forget I'm on the left now. I'm sorry, but I need to stroke my own ego for a second. But that fucking Baldock chicken I made last night was so goddamn good. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to make more next time. And I'm gonna need more cheese. Shit. There was a lot more leftovers than I thought. I was like, well, if I eat as much as I want, then there's gonna be too little for somebody else. So I was just like, oh, nom, 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 nom. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so goddamn good. I'm gonna think about that for probably the rest of my life and make it every other week. Anyway. Now I forgot. Oh, this is Gunslingers. Okay, this is the Nicolas Cage one. I want to see what this is like. And it's rated R. Oh boy. Show me your secret, Mr. Cage. I thought I hit play.
This town, it's called Redemption, right? I hear everyone in this town is wanted. Excuse me? I'm looking for Thomas.
Okay, this feels goofy.
You know him?
This feels goofy. The cross glasses, the what feels like a weird like side project camera work.
For the murder of Jess Rockefeller in New York City. Just wanted dead or alive.
My life ain't worth spit.
I want what's mine.
My town. My rules.
Okay.
I don't care about the risk.
Oh, is Nicolas Cage gonna say anything, or is every time he shows up is he just gonna be shaking his head? Never mind, we got it. Praise the Lord.
Get out of here as if we do it together.
How many men? 100 men, maybe more.
It feels and looks very, very B movie. Okay. Although I don't understand the one lady gunslinger that has like a bunch of black eye makeup for some reason.
Ain't no dreams coming true for me.
Never mind. This may be the one that like breaks the streak of Nicolas Cage to being in a weird or dumb movie. What was that Microsoft movie font? I feel like I just got flashbanged. What the fuck just happened? Question? What's up, queens? What my suggestion? Get auto-modded and nuked? I'm legit. Wait, it did? Wait, what happened? What happened? Did something get auto-modded? Nicholas Yeehaw Cage. Oh no. Oh no. All right. Actually, I wanted to see the Sinners movie, but do you want to know something? I have not seen the Sinners trailer at all. And then we'll move away from trailers. I still have the Long Walk open for some reason. We'll do the second one.
We've been gone a long time.
Okay, this already looks real snazzy. I like this.
You twins? Nah, we cousins.
There are legends of
Okay.
with the gift of making music so true. It can conjure spirits from the past and the future. This gift can bring
Oh.
fame and fortune.
Will somebody take me in your
But it also can pierce the veil between life and death.
Whoa.
Listen here.
Okay. I don't like that smile.
Shit.
Y'all ready to drink?
Okay.
Y'all stink.
You want some?
Swing till y'all sank. Oh no.
Dancing with the devil.
Rattlesnake.
Careful, boy. You gonna bite off more than you can chew.
One day he's
Oh.
gonna follow you home.
We got us a problem now.
What the hell going on?
Oh, we heard tale of a party.
White boys.
This world already left you for dead. I can save you from your fate.
You don't need no saving.
What
Yes,
is?
you do. And you
Oh, is he drooling?
I am.
your way out. Don't cry. It's all better now.
Yes, I lied to you.
This is a Vampire the Masquerade movie, isn't it?
Only in magic. Ghosts.
Okay, I'm still a little confused with some of like the tie-ins here.
Just power. Somebody please.
So they have like a dance hall. They're some kind of like
We're gonna kill every last one of you.
Okay, but why? Devil's in the details? I guess so. I guess that's why people enjoyed it, because like, right, there's so much stuff going on, it feels like they may be different plots, but I feel like they're all interconnected.
Thought y'all done forgot about me in here. Come on, open the door, let me on out of here.
Don't look in the people, don't look in the people.
It's you?
Of course it's me, open the door.
That ain't your brother.
Oh. Okay, so the eye thing with all of these is very interesting.
Yo, smell anything? I think I shot myself.
Damn it, not the weird, crude humor. Damn it. Not Gotham to be fair for the Masquerade, but I'd love to use this for material in a fistful of darkness, Blaze in the Dark TTRPG. Like, oh, interesting. I did not know that there was a like Blades in the Dark, but it's cowboy, but it's like Wild West. That's interesting. Okay. Chat. Do we dare watch the Fantastic Four trailer that's down here? I have not seen it. I have seen pictures. There's also Blaze in the Dark, but Fantasy Florence. Huh? Isn't that Blaze in the Dark? I'm scared. Go for it. All right, everybody hold hands. Here, I'll get out the extra arms. Here we go. All right, hold hands. I'm sure this will be fine. Right. Oh, hello. Hi, Zozo.
Our city, our planet, owe a debt to these intrepid souls. And while we can never repay them, we can certainly celebrate them.
Thank you, Fantastic Four. Thank you.
Thank you, Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay. We're excited about this movie. Really? I do like the weird
Herbie, how's that sauce?
Herbie.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what to call this. This future retroism of it.
Yes, we are.
You late? I just said that. Are you pregnant?
What? You're gonna be the best mom in the world. And you are gonna be the best dad. Just kidding. You are out of your depth. We're gonna be the best uncles ever.
We can do this. Nothing's going to change.
Holds the cringe mask. I don't know. I think it's kind of cute. There it is. There's our big problem.
Are you the protectors of this world?
I love her. I love her.
Yes, we are. Your planet is now marked for death.
Also, isn't that... No, that was somebody else.
It's my fault. I stretched the bounds of space. And they hurt.
It's not the same Silver Surfer. It's actually the original Silver Surfer's wife.
I don't know.
It's the Silver Surfer's wife. So they're going, yeah, it's Shalabal. Nornrad, the original Silver Surfer's wife.
We will face this together.
Ah, that's a good scene. That's a good scene.
As a family.
Yeah, it happens after the original Silver Surfer is killed. His wife, Shala, becomes the Harbinger. Becomes Galactus's Harbinger. That actually doesn't look too bad. That stretchy stuff actually does not look too bad.
We will protect you.
Yeah, it's happened twice at least. I'm pretty sure. Oh, okay, this feels like... Wait, they made him city-sized? They took Galactus and made him city-sized? they look they look decent. They look, yeah, I know he can change. Yeah, it's they look decent. They look better. They look better than the other Fantastic Four movie. All right, hold on. Something else showed up here that I want to see, and it's the 28 years later. I have not seen the trailer for 28 years later. Yeah, I want to see it next because I haven't seen. I've only seen the very first movie. Yeah, I've heard the second isn't as good. What is it? It's 28 days later and then 28 weeks later, right? Something like that. I do too. I like the retro futuristic look to like the whole thing. It makes it seem really cute and like kind of back in like their original debut.
There were so many dead.
What the fuck?
Infected and non-infected alike.
That's why
I forget. Is the 28 weeks the one? Is the 28 days and weeks? Is that the rage virus? I don't remember.
I feel he's a bit young.
He's ready, Jen.
7, 6, 11, 5.
Once you walk onto that mainland, there's no rescues.
Moving up and down.
Okay. Full on zombie virus. Ah. Okay, well, I can't wait to see Roanoke go on this and have to be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to revitalize my whole idea if all these people survive off of seemingly not much for 28 years.
There are many kinds of death.
Is there?
And some are better than others.
Oh. Oh! Please tell me that wasn't a baby. Also, the hit birth Franklin Richards, a man capable of making Galactus his herald. Yep. Yeah, the because they're pregnant. That's right.
This is a glorious day.
Wait, I forget. He's a mutant, isn't he, though? Franklin Richards is a mutant.
There's no discharge in the war.
Oh. In June. Okay. It's so much more eerie and hype. Okay, let's see. Let's go find it. 28 years later. This one? This first one? The one that's 4 months instead of 3 weeks? I think this is it. Not the UK suburb. Teletubbies! I remember Teletubbies.
Still, keep quiet and do not move from this spot.
Okay. Oh, fantastic. Okay, this is... Okay, there's the island again. I don't understand the Scarecrow. Still. Sponsors this, do they buy the rights to use it? I don't think anybody owns the rights to Teletubbies anymore. Behold, he is coming, something in the clouds? Head in the clouds?
Moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching him. There's no discharge in the war.
Ooh. Timmy? I think that's what it is, Jimmy or Timmy or something.
They will get the top of you. Moving up and down again.
Oh my god, the fucking voice for this trailer is really getting to my brain. I do kind of want to know what's up with the bone trees and the and the skull tower. Yes, the world of zombies. Oh no. It's... I don't... I don't know how I feel. Boots by Rudyard Kipling. Kipling read by Taylor Holmes in this poem. Oh. Or at least a remaster of it, it sounds like. I'm pretty sure it's it's a redone, like Zozo said, by somebody else. Oof. I don't know how I feel. That got to my brain. I don't know how I feel about that. What the shit? No, it's the recording. Oh. Oh, interesting. How old is the recording? Because it has the vibe of also there's another fucking horror movie trailer right here that I'm kind of curious about. 1903? Okay, I was gonna say it sounded like it came out of a gramophone. Okay, that's why you said 1903 earlier. Ooh. That was good use. That was a good use for this movie. I wonder who the intern or the writer or whatever that was like, what if? Can you imagine? That's probably got to be that's got to be one night where they hear it. Wow, today really is just going to be a horror movie trailer kind of day because I keep seeing ones I want to watch. The recording was later. Ah. No, I haven't seen Clown in the Cornfield. Here, let's make it through these two and then we can see Clown in a Cornfield. Also, is there going to be an alien? Well, this says FX Networks. Alien Earth? Okay.
You okay?
Tucker and Dale, Alien's earlier viewing. Very good. Ooh.
Do that guided meditation you like.
Now this is I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Find a peaceful setting.
Which makes me feel like it's going to be secret murder kind of situation or something.
Now, feel that love entering your body and emanating.
Is that an arrow? Uh-oh.
And remember the energy you give to the universe.
Oh my god. Oh my god, it's the Death Slinger from Dead by Daylight. Meat hook.
This is some kind of karma for what we did.
Oh, what did you do?
So what happened?
Is that what I hope in this movie they do a thing where we have no idea what the thing is they did last summer is until the end.
Violence like this in Southport. It's not going to stop.
I need to start drinking. Someone is coming after us.
I haven't touched a DVD in years. Yeah.
I need your help.
Oh.
I just have one question.
Okay.
What did you do last summer?
This place is so beautiful.
Where are her eyebrows? Hey, it comes out just for my birthday. Okay. These horror fans are eating pretty well. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I hope they don't ruin it. It seems like they're not going to. It seems like we're not going to know what the thing is that they're being hunted for until much later in the movie. This is how you do a trailer. You have no idea what the thing is. You don't know anything about the slasher other than it's we have at least one guy with a meat hook. We don't know the reason. We don't know who the person is. We had the vague introduction. Also, hi, Kevin. More than just secret murder. Oh, is there a series? Is it a book series or is it a TV series? We know the original tale. Ooh. Ooh, is it based off of something? It seems pretty interesting. It seems pretty interesting. All right, I want to see what this other one is, and then we'll check out. This is Fear Street Prom Queen.
Coming to you live from Shady's.
Every time I think of Prom Queen, though, I just think of the song by, what is it, 35M? The P is for Patricia drinking poisoned punch. R is for Raquel, brains dashed on a rock. Crunch. Oh my goodness. I'm back with multiple tons of metal that I stole from copper to cobalt to titanium. What are you going to do with those metals? Is it just the hook man? Hook hand door man.
Hi. Only 2 days to go until senior prom, and anything could happen.
Oh!
Gotcha.
Megan Rogers, principal's office right now.
That's a good prank. That's a good prank, though.
Miss Granger, this is your time to shine. This is the new Shady Side.
Hold on. I was gonna say, you know, if they made this into fucking, what does M stand for? O is for, M is for Mariana's marinated remains. But, Q is for Kiara quiet drowned in the pool. U is for Eunice's pieces spread around the school. Sorry, I just really like that song. Yeah, M is Mariana's marinated remains. Shady Side? Yes, this is Fear Street. This is Fear Street Prom Queen. So I am very curious. I am very curious. It'd be funny if somebody made a movie though about her. It'd basically be Carrie.
Fulfill that promise.
I'm trying to win prom queen, but
The movie Carrie, not the mod Carrie.
You're so gonna win prom queen. You better believe I am.
I do not like those pink lightning bolt earrings.
Hi. If you make a fool of me, this will be the end of you.
Oh, this is a Netflix movie. Oh no. Good song though. When the night falls down.
What's gonna go wrong?
Come around. God, I'm having flashbacks to the 13 Going on 30 soundtrack. Oh, I didn't know this was R.L. Stein. Cropsy, the hook man of Staten Island. Oh. I'm not afraid anymore. Oh my goodness.
Where are all the prom queens?
Prom queens plural?
We're trapped. How do we get out of here?
Yeah, Fiercely was R.L. Stein. I'd forgotten that.
Someone is ruining it.
I know, I just... Wait, was it? It wasn't a Goosebumps multi-series, was it? Was it an entirely separate series? I don't remember much of R.L. Stein. It's been so long since I've read R.L. Stein books. I read all the R.L. Stein books that had come out when I was in elementary school. A new adaptation of Animorphs? No, you know what we need? You know what we need? We need an entire another fucking series. Like fucking Cirque du Freak. I need the Cirque du Freak series back. I need it rehashed. I need it not whatever the fuck this is. This was the movie for Cirque du Freak. This douche canoe played the master vampire. Applications just I think we need to just pass joke rolling. Oh no. Oh no. Older audience R.L. Stein, I think. Ah. Also Spider. But yeah, I like these books. Also, thanks, Darren Shan. Thanks, Darren Shan. Also, if I remember correctly, the vampires were supposed to be like bluish or purplish in the book. But like when they made the movie, they just couldn't be fucked. They were like, we're not doing the purple skin thing. All right, hold on. What was that other movie? Clown in the Cornfields? Clown in the Cornfields. Oh. Oh no, it's AMC. Oh no, it's AMC and Shudder. All right, let's do this. Show me your secrets, clown man.
This is
what the hell?
Show you. Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it is really cool. Where'd you get it from?
I'm OG Kettle Springs, baby. I got all kinds of stuff.
What the fuck is OG Cattle Springs? Uh-oh. Please don't explode. Please don't explode. Whew.
They're really big on tradition around here.
Oh, not cattle. Kettle Springs. Kettle Springs. I sneezed too hard. Are you okay?
I don't know the Bay Pen corn syrup labels. These practically
corn syrup?
Smile, silly girl. You're about to become a sensation.
Hold on.
Smile, silly girl. You're about to become a sensation.
She's only been recording 15 seconds. which means she captured none of that. She captured none of the scare, none of the clown coming up, and none of the fucking, like, are you serious, guys? You couldn't have even pretended like she was actually recording? Shh, come on, it's fine. You totally didn't, they totally didn't just make this in post. Like, this ain't a real phone. They couldn't just made this shit in post. Also, this looks like Snapchat. This looks like the video thing for Snapchat. Suspend that disbelief? No. A good movie doesn't need me to suspend my disbelief.
Be careful who you hang out with. There's some real weirdos at this town.
Hello, handsome. Uh-oh. 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 Oh! Oh!
Very funny, man.
New nightmare unlocked. New nightmare unlocked. A crossbow.
There's a psycho dressed up like Brendo, trying to kill us.
Okay, I like this.
Where's the button, Jen? What is this? What kind of phone is this?
Never mind, this movie's trash. My bones. My bones. It's based off like Smile and stuff. So it's both. I need that again. I need that one again. That was bound to happen eventually in a movie, and I'm glad it was one with a clown.
Where's the button, Jen? What is this? What kind of phone is this?
They found the opportunity to have two high school girls just absolutely lose their shit, and it's so funny. From the director is Smile cringe. The second one is pretty cringy. The first one was really good though. That's good. That's good shit. Oh, well, that looked like he got hit there. Okay. Brendo, the happy clown. She doesn't know how to drive a stick shift truck, does she? Is entertaining cringe, to be honest with this tracks. Yeah, that's what it was. It said that it was made by the same people who made Tucker and Dale. I'd watch it. I'd watch it. That's not bad. Not bad. I like it. What else do we have? Hold on, we're just on a movie kick today. So, The Phoenician Scheme. I tried to pause that, but I couldn't pause it. But also, hold on. There's this other channel here that's like this one. Oh no, we're not going to watch. Another A24 movie. We will watch this one. Pause, damn you, I'm clicking. All right. All right. I don't think this is actually a spooky movie, right? I think this is like a Benicio del Toro. Oh no. It gives me the vibe of, what's his name? It's always the clown. Tucker Dale's entertaining cringe, to be honest. So tracks in a clown field setting 85% of Rotten Tomato. That's pretty good. Wow, there's a lot of trailers that this person has saved that I have not seen. All right, I want to know what the severed son is.
What's troubling you? My daughter.
Hello, sir. I was.
Seen you at service recently.
I've not been well.
Is this? Oh. Okay, this is a film festival movie.
You have lost a husband and a father, but as family, we have set an example.
This feels like it's going to be like some sort of like surrealist.
We are conceived, born into this fallen world.
Is it gonna be a cult movie? I think this is gonna be a cult movie.
We were chosen.
I'm getting, oh, what is
The work
it?
has been hard of late.
I'm getting certain vibes. What was it?
But we must remember.
The fuck was that?
We cannot always have bright, shining sun.
Damn it, I'm trying to think of the movie. Midsummer. I'm getting Midsummer vibes. The Vivitch? Yeah, the Vivitch. Also the Vivitch.
What is this? It seems to have a taste of a foul bag.
Tell me
Ew.
why I'm sick.
It was the beast. It ripped him apart.
You can't kill a youth fool!
Oh. Was from the Midsummer Village? Yep. Yep, the Vivitch from the Midsummer Village. Exactly, there you go. There you go. Okay, that looked a little goofy, but the eyes weren't the worst. Okay, this is Rosario. We're gonna go straight into the next one. Sorry, I'm scratching my nose, so my mouth is covered. New York?
One day, all your dreams are gonna come true.
I think that was New York. Maybe Chicago. Grandma's dead. Grandma's dead. Oh. Oh, hello.
Winter storm appears to have
No, don't ignore Grandma.
stay indoors.
I only have one of those.
See, abuela. Hello?
Your grandma, she's no longer with us.
Huh?
Was she ill?
She's an old lady. She's falling apart, you know.
Oh, okay.
Here we are. Be down the hall.
Did you really have to leave the body?
What happened to you?
Wait a second. Okay, we're either gonna get hallucinations in this movie or Grandma's been dead a while. Anyway. What happened to you? Was 100% the witch. I know it's a witch. I just like saying the witch.
You must be the famous.
Oh, hey!
I could hear her through the wall.
I know that actor.
Praying for your dreams to come true.
What the hell were you into?
Witchcraft.
It's a religion that invokes
Mayombe.
dead.
Yeah.
Cobayente, collector of the dead. Once the truth.
Isn't Mayombe also sometimes, like, depending on which sect, it also calls on, like, ancestors, demons, and Catholic saints?
I'll probably put some curse on me before she dies.
No, I'm thinking of Saturnalia. Saturnalia is, I'm pretty sure, the one that does the Catholic saint worship thing.
You're not leaving, are you?
Oh, I didn't like the way that was phrased.
I'm ending your curse.
I did not like the way that was phrased. You're not leaving, are you? And not to read things you find written out loud? Yeah. Yeah. I don't think the Rosario name, though, is very good. Hold on, I kind of want to see that last part again. Hold on. She's under a bed. The demon is coming through the mattress. I'm pretty sure that's a bed frame. I'm pretty sure. That could be a wall. She could be like inside a wall, maybe. I don't know how to read Latin, but I'm gonna summon something wild if I get the chance. Listen, do what you gotta do. Grandma learned phase. Oh no. Okay, so we got those two. Let's see what Bring Her Back is. And then, hold on, Daddy's Head. And we might as well check out Alien Earth, since it's an Alien franchise thing. Playing Expedition 33, just learned about compartmentalization. Compartmentalizing? You don't know compartmentalizing? A lot of people do that. Especially usually when they're with their own like cognitive dissonance. Where like X is bad, but when I do it, it's not. Because I'm doing it for this reason. Omakade? Oh, huh? A pool?
Is this their new sister?
What was that Hunter Schafer horror movie that came out last year? Does anybody know the one I'm talking? Cuckoo, right? Something like that. It was Cuckoo, I'm pretty sure.
Needed someone that could keep in special care.
Hey, buddy.
Listen, I gotta tell you a secret.
Oh. Oh. Wait, what was this one? Bring her back. You what?
It's a beautiful angel.
Oh.
It does beautiful things.
I did not need that squelch. I did not need the squelch. Yo, me when somebody's trying to calm me down, just do the little finger rub right there, right behind the ear.
Listen. Some people believe the spirit.
Listen, I'm a sucker for that, okay?
We can bring her back.
What? Okay, the end of this month. You have my curiosity. But like, who back? All right, this one's Daddy's head.
He's not going to live.
Goodbye, Daddy.
Oh, another Shutter original. Okay.
What does that mean? He will need someone.
The horse leg.
I can't do this.
Give it time.
He's barely spoken to me since we got married.
It will come.
The boy or the husband? Also, wait a second. What the fuck is that thing on the coffee table? What H.R. Geiger fucking homunculus do they have on their coffee table? Also, this says Daddy's head. What I'm thinking, because it looked like at the beginning their dad was dying, I'm making a guess right here. It looks Cronenbergish. I can see that. I'm gonna say that maybe it is a imposter who has taken the dad's face and has been living his life, and the boy knows it and doesn't trust him. That's what I'm guessing. I'm only guessing, unless the dad is actually dead. We'll see. Okay, monsters. Oh boy. My kid likes monsters. Hell yeah. Ooh, frogman person thing.
To the forest.
The forest?
Isaac. Dad.
Huh?
He's in the forest. Hiding in trees. His body's different.
What do you mean? Do you think you could draw him for me? You're obviously both struggling with the
Why
situation.
is the kid is actually a really good sketcher. Holy shit. It could be something similar. I don't know for sure. I don't think so though. Oh no. Paranormal Activity camera shenanigans.
I know that there's something wrong.
Worm. Okay. Okay, this is pretty decent.
Everyone must know he's here. Gaelic forest monsters? Maybe. I think they're supposed to be American. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be American. There's usually, if they're trying to convey a like non-American location, they typically go heavy on the accents. It's art. Is this AI? No. Goodness, hiccups. All right. But oh right, Alien Earth. There's one more. Omukade? Oh, that's the other one. That's the other one you were talking about. That's right. All right, we'll look up that one after this one. Because, what is this? This is Alien Earth? I'm guessing that this is after they brought the samples back to Earth. I'm sure that'll be fine. I'm sure that'll be great. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing to worry about. Looks like a game because IGN. Yeah. Yeah, but IGN also does more than just video games. They're more like a media kind of thing. It's a long time to show movies now. Yep. And they've done it for a while. Sometimes they even get exclusive trailers. Baby? Baby? Oh, this is based on a comic? Ooh. Ooh. Okay. I don't like this. Please come again. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is just... They did a whole animation on like the... Okay, I see why it's called Gestation Complete. Never mind. Carry on. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Okay. All right, go get him, little guy. Go do your devious little things. Oh. Oh. Okay, well, there's our cryopods. Wiki wiki eggs and baking. Totally not the Purina symbol. Get scurrying, fella. Okay, it looks like they did a very good job with the retrofuturism in this. So I like it. The set looks really good. 2554W. DNA unknown? Wayland Yutani. Okay. Don't these fuckers learn? Fun fact, the guy who wrote the original movie wanted to tie the Xenomorphs to Lovecraft's great old ones. Oh. I could imagine something like that'd be interesting. But I'm curious how they would do it. Okay, the other one was it Oku Fuda? What was it, Zozo? Omufuda. Omukade. I was way off. Omukade. Holy shit! We'll go with this one. Is this World War II? Or Vietnam War?
You can come out now, Lieutenant. She's one of us.
Oh. Okay, no, this is... Thailand? Not sure the time frame? Okay. It's definitely mid-1900s. Okay. And this looks like it is actually a, like, Thai production. Oh, that's fine. It's just a bit of blood. Oh, wait, no, I think those were legs. Oh, great meat in a cave. Praise be the great meat in a cave. Praise be to the great meat cave. Spaghetti Monster's back. Emon's here? Oh. Okay. Oh, skull. Okay. I'm still kind of scared with the thumb. Oh, there it is. There's the thumbnail. Oh, I hate that. Okay, so it's centipedes. I don't like zombie centipedes. Guys, I don't think that's gonna work. I don't think that's gonna work. It runs in that one video game, you know. Resident Evil 4. Close enough. Welcome back. Oh my goodness. All right. Do I have any more? I think. Hold on. I need to like reopen the upcoming horror movies here. Get out of here. Let's see if they have anything interesting. There's the new Conjuring, vampire zombies from space. Let's not watch that one. This week, okay, the Ovocade is a giant man-eating centipede that lives in the mountains. Well, it eats humans. The Ovocade has a weakness to human saliva. It only preys on great serpents and dragons. I mean, it seems like that's what they're basing it off of. The Ritual. Al Pacino in The Ritual. Inspired by The Exorcist. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. I'm kind of looking for some of the like movie ones. But there's I Know What You Did. There's The Toxic Avenger. We're not going to watch The Toxic Avenger. Weapons. Weapons is really short. Him. Okay. Wild Eye Releasing. Oh. Oh, also Pretty Boy. Fear Below, a shark movie. Uh-oh. Home Sweet Home Rebirth. Home Sweet Home. Which more movies did it that way? I opened Weapons, didn't I? No, I didn't. Let's open Weapons. Here, I forget though. Hold on. Okay, we got 6 minutes on ad break, so we can make it through. Let's do Weapons.
Mr. Graff, I can understand your passion, and I don't mind having these conversations with you because, God forbid, if it was my child, I'd be demanding answers too.
Okay. Is he missing?
Those homes, no one pulled them out.
Hold on. There we go. Captions. Frolic, child. Frolic through the suburbs. Why are they running like that? Why are they running like that?
I don't.
That's a good teaser. That's how you do a mystery horror movie. That's how you do the trailer, kids. Oh, I didn't like that. Do you think it's an ARG? Let's see. Maybrook missing.com. I put Marbrook. Huh? Maybrookmissing.com. Do I risk it? Or I don't know if I want to click this. I don't know if I want to click this. Should I avoid this? Or can I like, I don't think it's not private. Mine didn't do this. Let me see if I can like click here. Maybe this tiny URL will take me there. No, that's their website. Let's try Google searching instead. Maybrook missing. .net. Wait. This is .net. Why is this .com? Let me see. What did you send? No, that also says .com. Why are there two? Okay, so this is fine. Mayberg Parent-Teacher Association. To all concerning members of the Mayberg community, we will not rest until the mystery is solved. 2:17 a.m. Wednesday morning, a group of third graders from our school in Miss Candy's class, who had recently transferred after an incident at her previous school, voluntarily left their homes. Authorities are baffled by the inexplicable disappearances, which has shaken the community to its core. So, it is specific kids from this lady's class, 17 of them. In the aftermath of their disappearances, we held a school assembly where numerous parents were able to express their increasing concerns about both trying the Blair Witch marketing, maybe. One parent explained, I don't understand at all why her classroom, why only hers. As our school principal attempts to reassure the crowd, with no sign of force and no further information coming to light, we are left with the lingering question. Why? And then these look, I'm pretty sure, just the same clips. Like there's a kid running across there. Yeah, these are all just the various clips we saw in the trailer. Hello? A rental property in Detroit's Brightmoor neighborhood has become the focus of a chilling investigation after a local woman escaped the home under shocking circumstances and an actor was found dead nearby. Police were alerted after Tess Marshall, 28, was discovered injured and disoriented outside the Barbary Street property, which began as a simple wellness check, quickly turned into a large-scale crime scene. Investigators uncovered a network of hidden tunnels beneath the home, speaking questions about the property's history and potential connection to unsolved disappearances dating back decades. Sources close to the investigation say the tunnels were likely constructed in the 1980s by a previous homeowner, now deceased. Disturbing items found in the subterranean chambers suggest prolonged and possible criminal activity, though police had no confirmed details pending ongoing forensic analysis. Recently listed as a short-term rental, Marshall in town for a job interview had reportedly been staying at the house when events took a violent turn. Is this not Barbarians? Is it Barbarians? Or was it not Berserker or something? Was the movie Barbarian the one with like the crazy lady inside the tunnels? Because this sounds like that one movie that was pretty popular. Was the movie called Barbarians? Oh yeah, it was Barbarian. Yep. Hold on, what was the character's name? Tess Marshall. It is tied in. Interesting. All right, this is the net one. And then see, there's the same underground. Hold on, what happens when I open this one? .net article. Warner Brothers. Oof. Do I dare? Sorry, I'm scratching my eye. Do I dare? Was fun, but would have been better if shorter. Yeah. Nah. But this is very good. This is a very good trailer. I like this trailer. It's perfectly unsettling. It's the perfect length to have me just like, okay, I need to see this. I need to know. It's eating me alive. All right. I'm going to pause these other ones. That's paused already. And we're not going to do the drone video today. All right. Ad break has just started. I will give you the words on stream. I'm working on it. Nobody scream about iPad. Torbeck is interested. Torbeck is interested. I can't do it. I can't do Torbeck. Oh, what the heck? Okay, there we go. I clicked something and accidentally dragged it. I don't think I'm going to go anywhere for this. Has so many tabs open, you're crashing my internet? I'm not crashing your... I only have 5 tabs open, and frankly, 2 of these I can close. But... I know people that have way more tabs than I do. Like, obscenely more tabs. All right. Let me do this real quick. I just realized my dashboard was frozen on the offline screen. You should see mine. Oh no. No, I don't leave tabs open. Like when I go to bed at night, I close literally every single tab. Goodness. Do I have water? Okay, I do. I haven't been drinking a lot of water during the stream. All right. Dang, we really are eating good this year when it comes to horror movies. 2024 and 2025 have been awesome. Awesome for horror movies. I still need to see Coco. Not Coco. Cuckoo. Cuckoo? Cuckoo, that's the word. Also, House of Beth. I'm sorry I missed your follow. Welcome in. Enjoy the show. House of Beth, are you saying? Cusco. No, couscous. Like the food? Cusco's poison. The poison meant for Cusco? The poison meant to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison. Hi, Kohaku. Welcome in. Let me get y'all the next rounds. Oh, hello? I clicked it. Oh, there we go. I was about to say, I clicked it like twice and it didn't do anything. The bee was fake? No, not the bee. Also, hold on a second. Did I mention before how much I hate the new update on my phone? I hate it so much. I hate it so goddamn much. Okay. Chat, don't flub it. Chat, don't flub it. Gibraltar. No, I'm kidding. Four-letter word that starts with G. Somebody's already done pints. Somebody's done ring. Okay. Grin. There you go. There you go. Grin. Okay. Flubbing initiated me. Me. Did they force you to eat an AI? I hate when it happens. Yum yum. Bint. Bogo's binted? Bogo's binted. I don't think that counts. I don't think bint by itself. Oh, it is. Oh. It's a British word for a woman or girl. You stupid bint. But yeah, I don't think they would put that in here. Oh my goodness. Hey, but at least y'all got it. At least y'all got the goal. All right. We'll get back to this and then we'll do Pretty Boy. Wait for it to say good to go. British words! Not in my house. Not in my house. All right, get out of here. It's time. It's time for Pretty Boy. Apparently we're getting a new slasher movie. Oh!
All right, Preston. They're scared.
Grindstone.
No couples allowed Valentine's party before.
What you expect?
No couples allowed Valentine's party.
In the Hollywood Hills.
Babe.
Oh no, it's gonna be an LA movie. Ugh.
There's something you should know. Something about this house. The monster.
Pink hair in my slasher movie? I'm kidding.
Peering through the windows, looking for what it craves most.
What does it crave?
Sex.
You have to help me. There's someone after me.
I don't like the mask, I'll be honest. Especially because the mask is too small for him. I was like, why does this look so funny? It's because his face is literally bigger than the mask.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Who are you?
Make money about it? No.
Edgar used to practice putting makeup.
Pink-haired dudes in my horror movie.
Wow, he loved his dolls.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Not only works in games. You goofball, you should know that by now, customer. Drown in your hot tub. Did he cut the face off the mannequin? Okay.
Say something.
Please say something. It worked pretty well. Yeah. Naughty is sometimes not bad. That's me. Probably wondering how I got here. I don't know if I want to watch together. I know we watched together like once before. Hell Motel. I gotta know. It's only 7 days old.
Honeymoon suite?
Maybe the captions. Honeymoon suite at a motel. Are you serious, dude? It only works in Vegas. Oh, a series. I swear I recognize that mask from somewhere. Right? I swear the mask is from another like movie or series.
Each one of you is a VIP of the true crime scene.
Please strap in.
We deliver total access to the most famous murder site in history.
The Cold River Slaughter? And you give us the right to use...
How the fuck, hold on, how the fuck can you possibly claim that a random murder in a motel is the most famous murder in history? Also, are we getting a TV series that is basically just Clue? Is this Cluedo? Is this what you've come up with, Shudder? Marketing. By lying, of course.
Promotional purposes. Typical influencer engagement contract.
Hello, selfies.
Hello, who are you?
Horror takes place in isolation. Evil Dead, Cabin in the Woods, The Shining.
Okay.
Do you think the original murderer has come back?
Maybe we have a copycat.
Thank you so much for the invite, but I want to check out.
Crazy murders like these.
Okay.
He or she will strike again. Who do you think it's going to be?
The bigger question is why.
Yeah, this is...
Ooh, I have a better question. Who do you want it to be?
I like her. She feels positively evil. But in like the fun kind of evil. Okay, so hear me out. If one of us was a murder in this room, who would you want them to kill? Kevin in the Woods? Oh no. Okay. Contract mentioned. Don't ever sign a contract with Kono, kids. Don't ever sign a contract with Kono. He'll take your car. All right. Him. Totally not the him from Powerpuff Girls. Junior. Hi, Junior. Gotcha, Kono.
Do you want this?
Gotcha, bitch.
I said, do you want this?
I don't know. Do I want this?
If you want to transcend...
Oh, no. Oh, no. Are we getting a professional football horror movie? Kono out here catching strays. It tends to happen. I'm sorry, Kono, if that hurt your feelings. I really am. I was poking fun. I hope it didn't hurt your feelings.
No sleep. We grind.
Was that bed in an empty room?
I'm never good enough. That's how great people think.
This really does feel like a sports commercial. Until you have a fucking concussion, dude.
So you're gonna have to ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice?
Okay.
Fucking game, man. This is everything. Do you want this? What are you willing to sacrifice?
Oh, okay. This seems very interesting. Well, we find out that like.
They use the structure of a sports ball movie? I mean, this seems kind of like what this is. Like the whole first half of this trailer very much felt like a sports movie trailer. Why do they have knives? Okay, hold on. We have some others. I want to see what Locked is. I want to see what Locked is and why this man is wearing a pink hoodie. Keep captions.
It's Eddie. Could you spot me some cash? Oh.
Was he looking to steal the car?
Yeah, I'm having a rough day too. There you go.
Oh, okay, yeah, he is looking to steal a car. We're gonna find out he gets into a car and he's locked in. He's gonna be locked into a fucking bulletproof car, isn't he? There it is. There it is. It's a bait car.
My name is William. I'm the owner of this car.
What do you want?
Thou shalt not steal. That's not complicated, is it?
Did you just tase me?
I want you to experience the consequences of your actions.
Oh, okay. Completely black and soundproof.
Do I have your attention now?
Okay. Sam Raimi. Oh, interesting.
I've invested a lot of time and money into this project.
But why? For the sole purpose of punishing...
So this was your plan? To let me die?
Let you die? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Wouldn't want to ruin all the fun, would I?
Oh, but there's no fun in letting you die. And Cyberpunk has no chill.
What you want?
Oh god, you have a self-driving Bentley.
Little taste of hell.
Oh, that was Bill Skarsgård? Every time Bill Skarsgård's in a fucking movie, you could never tell it's him.
Hello, Eddie.
How
I'm
is...
in my car.
I was gonna say, is that... Fuck, what's his name? Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, was that... I was gonna say, that sounded like Anthony Hopkins from the beginning. And I was like, no way. I like sadistic Anthony Hopkins. Okay. Okay, we'll go to Solitude. Of course, the car was built by Hannibal Lecter. Been up to since last time we saw him? Yeah, apparently. Apparently. He's been terrorizing this one poor dude locked in a car.
Here, I want to talk to you about something.
Raising the money to buy an overly expensive jail box of a Bentley. Oh, I'm sure that's fine. Also, from the team that brought you Vengeance, a Friday the 13th film. I don't think I've ever seen that movie, nor have I heard of it. Also, this is not how you start a trailer. Okay, cool. Brown Space Films. Oh, cool. Forest. Beautiful flowers. Awesome. Cool. Great. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, look, a flare. Oh, look, somebody's getting dragged away. Why? Why? You should have kept the calm a little bit longer. You should have kept the calm a little bit longer. This is nothing. That's what this is. This section, these like 2 scenes we get of the person lighting the flare and getting dragged away means nothing.
9 other people, and your job is to outlast all of them.
9 other contestants between me and $1 million prize.
What?
Be a little extra careful while you're out there, okay? Because there's a legend in these woods.
What fucking Hunger Games-esque shit is this? What is wannabe Katniss about to do? Kermit playing the banjo. You know, if they made a horror movie where it's Kermit playing the banjo in the woods, just like the what is it? Winnie the Pooh?
I've never seen so many times.
Oh, this trailer away and being dragged away. What were you fucking thinking? Ah! Since the Hannibal Lecter lectern.
Infinity at Camp Fuckery.
Okay.
I'm gonna die out here.
Okay, but why? We've really kind of green and bloody. Yep, there you go. There you go, Kermit. There's your title. There's your working title. No. No. This movie has no interest to me. When does Kermit become public domain? I think technically he already is. Because I think, aren't all the characters for... No, they're not. No, they're not. Are Muppets owned by Disney now? I don't remember. Who owns the Muppets? Is it Disney? Yeah, Disney owns it. Yeah, it was 2004 when they got the ownership rights. Yeah, it was Disney. Yeah, Jim Henson, I think specifically... Isn't Jim Henson dead? Isn't Jim Henson dead? I could have swore he was. Okay. Wait, has Popeye the Slayer Man already come out? Because this says scene or clip, and it is 5 fucking minutes. But his ghost owns all his creations. Henson's... Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Jim Henson's been dead for a long time. Or Disney's going to get mad. I think it's fine to have emotes, mainly because it's like, falls under parody, probably. Probably. Big question mark on that. Big question mark. Let's see if we can find just a couple more. Surrender looks interesting. And fuck it. We'll do together. We'll do together. Even though this trailer, like, freaked me out the first time we watched it.
I love you.
Also, use code Dark Carnival at GamerSupps. Don't buy Cinders. It's nasty. Pomegranate tea. Who wants pomegranate tea flavored energy drinks?
I don't know.
Is that a mullet?
Haven't been on the same page.
Please. Do you love each other?
Guitar with a mullet.
Complacent.
Okay. The copyright struck Ordinary Sausage the week for singing a version of Manha Manha himself to bitch just spitting in his grave. What the fuck?
Harmony.
You
know, this could be the beginning
roll over, then you're on my hair.
of something wonderful.
Tim.
We spend our lives in search of the other half.
I don't like that.
If you think you found that, don't be so quick to let it go.
I don't like this.
I think something's happening to us.
Wait, was he being like pushed around by the momentum of the car that she was driving? Because he wasn't like buckled in, he was feeling the momentum that was affecting her? That's why he was like swinging around in the shower like that?
Now.
Body but you. Okay.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Wait, you saw this movie? It's already out?
You'll be okay. Whiskey for the pain.
You are a brave bitch for being willing to use that power tool with one hand. Okay. I was gonna say, I was like, I don't think the... Okay, the end of July. Yeah, because we watched this trailer once before and it gave me the same like heebie-jeebies with the like being pulled together and shit. You don't have a cult wedding, it really will till you part. Oh no. Oh no. Wait, there's a longer trailer here for weapons. Damn it, guys, you ruined it. You should have left it as the 40-second trailer.
It's a true story that happened in my town. So this one
McLaren County?
normal day for the whole school. But today was different. Every other class had all their kids.
All right.
But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. And you know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning,
Oh, they didn't cover the 217 thing.
got out of bed,
Until power saw do us part.
went
Ugh.
downstairs, and into the dark. And they never came back.
Do you think this movie's gonna be about...
Understand at all? Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Hold on.
Our children.
We have a lot of emotional parents here.
I'm curious. Do you think they're gonna handle the situation like as a whole in this movie, or do you think that like we're gonna have like a fast forward? Right, Bandit, thank you for the not tier 3. 3 months. There we go. 3 months. It says resub for 3 months at tier 1. Weird, but thank you for the 20-month streak. Holy shit.
I think it's best if you keep some distance from this.
Enjoy your season pass. August. Okay.
Matthew, where are you?
Oh!
Where did you go?
Oh my god. Oh, she was stabbing herself with a fork.
This is where the story really starts.
Are you sure? Are you sure this is where it starts? This is where the story really begins? Oh my god, I remembered what I was gonna do before stream. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh my god, hold on. I need to do this before I forget. Oh shit. Hold on. Fuck. 3.5 hours later, and just randomly it fucking hits me. Hold on. I remember what it was now. God damn it. Okay, hold on. I need to do this. I need to do it. It's stream cord. I meant to go change the things. This is so stupid. They were streamed. That needs to be a short. God damn it. That needs to be like at the beginning. She was like, I'm forgetting something, but I can't remember what it is. 3.5 hours later, I remembered what it was. Okay, hold on. How do I edit you? Okay. Oh shit. I need the fucking @ key. Sunstar, can you get me the server or does @ everyone work? Does just simply @ everyone work? Or do I need the code key? It'll work? Okay, just @ everyone. Because we did like a little random thing, a random poll the other night. And more people agreed that they would rather have an @ everyone ping when we go live. Whoops. Okay, we're good. That's what I was gonna change. I was gonna change the Marin Go ping stream announcement to @ everyone. Okay. 3 hours later. Watching children like get run over by cars and chase after people, barreling through walls and windows. Oh my goodness. Okay, what are you screaming at, Iron? I'm gonna have to go back and clip the beginning of me being like, I don't remember what I'm supposed to be doing.
I should have. Yeah, you should have.
That's so fucking funny, dude. God damn it, no, not the sneak, Hiren. How could you? Hold on, I'm gonna wait for the sneak. Oh my god, no, not the hype train. Baby no games. Oh shit, I hit spacebar. Serps, why did you give a sub to Baby No Games? And you started a hype train. Are you proud of yourself? Little guy. Little guy. I'm gonna redo one of the sneak things, and I think at some point I'm gonna make him like appear in like the window. Look at him go. Chibi snuck in a hype train. Did y'all know Twitch is adding like treasure trains? Apparently, besides like Golden Kappa, there's also going to be something called treasure trains, where I think it's if you get it above like level 5, everybody who gives mass subs at that point gets a discount. I think it's something like 35% or something like that. Twitch is treasure train. Hi, Rin. Why are you screaming? Anyway, back to this.
I should have come back sooner. Yeah, you should have.
Was that him breathing?
It's the same. I honestly don't know how much longer we can keep this up.
Ah, Androx, thank you for the 1K bits. Holy shit.
Hello, test subject. Cave Johnson here. Congratulations, homosexual. Your existence has been deemed profitable in the following regions: North America, Western Europe, and Australia. To celebrate the occasion, we have temporarily recolored all Aperture Science appliances in these regions to your favorite flavor of gay. For further pandering on a wider area, please continue fighting for basic human dignities, and Aperture Science will be right there to celebrate your victory with you. Afterwards.
Yeah, that's the 1K bit thing. I always forget that's there, and then somebody throws the 1K bits, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sit here quietly while it plays because it's funnier that way. Yay, pandering!
Have you been smoking? Have you been drinking?
Oh no. Why? Oh, it's teeth. Okay, that was a very uncomfortable angle.
Be different somehow.
He's not breathing.
Okay. We need to gather all his precious objects. They sent me a list. Things we have to prepare before his arrival.
What?
Who is coming over? The man Deb recommended. Recommended for what?
Hello? Hold on. Hold on. I trust this man's intrinsically. This is a man you can trust. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Anyway.
What's that for?
Protection.
Okay.
We cannot leave.
Why? But why? What's the reason? I don't understand.
Skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Yeah, but why are they doing the ritual? We have no idea. He like, I feel like they skip that. Like she definitely, it seems like she's come home because like her dad is dying. Grandma's having a fucking moment. Maybe it's like she can't live without him or something, so she's doing anything she can. And then like one day it seems like they wake up and he's dead. And then it skips from that to like gathering his stuff. So maybe they're like, we'll resurrect him. Yeah, that'll be the way. That'll be the way. Ziggy, thank you for the 100 bits. But that's like, we don't understand the reason. We don't understand how like thus far how they found this guy. Why all the rituals and stuff. I suppose it's good that they're making me ask questions because that means I'm probably more likely to go see the movie. But it feels like they jumped sections that were crucial to like understanding more of the idea of the plot. I wonder what the title "The Surrender" is like pertaining to. Oh well. All right, we'll do one more trailer. Boys from Country Hell. I don't know anything about this one.
Older than God?
Huh?
The earth has its own secrets.
We're getting Irish?
Close enough. You'll hear it.
Oh my god, are we getting Celtic Druid horror?
Haven't you guys got anything better to do?
Nope. No, we don't. This land belonged to Abertag.
The Stoker.
Drinking like water.
Like Dracula.
Fuck Dracula. I'd love to know if there's actually anything under there.
We'll find out soon enough.
You what? No. No, you idiot.
I saw something weird.
Longer train from a lovely friend. Oh, Serps.
There's a vampire on my side. That wee fucker tried to bite me.
That wee fucker tried to bite me.
This isn't Dracula. People don't get turned from a fucking bite. They get turned by the stones from Abertag's grave.
Oh. The stones?
We need better weapons. Are there any ideas in there? What about sunlight?
There's the hype train. Thank you so much for the hype train, you guys. Hold on, what emote did we get?
Burn, you bastard.
It's a fucking cat.
Oh, shit. If Abertag binges all night, the whole town's gonna be dead as fuck.
Huh?
Wrong fucking town.
This is giving... Oh, what's that British cop zombie comedy? I'm forgetting the name of it.
Oh, come on. Like, what are we supposed to do about this?
Okay, it's funny. I like it. Only on Shudder. Never mind, I hate it. Never mind, I hate it. Jacob's wife? Oh, fuck. These are all Shudder exclusives. All right, we're not going to do that. We're not going to put up with that. That's fine. Everything is fine. Nothing's on fire. Chat is on their best behavior. And we are going to be done for the day, you guys. We are going to wrap up for today. Today is the last stream of the day, to my knowledge. Of the week over here. However, over the weekend, we do not have vampires, so nothing going on Sunday night. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. CDT, we're going to be over on Hectics, which let me do this thing real quick. I think Hectic has been here. Yeah, Hectic was here earlier. So we will be over there tomorrow playing Mage the Ascension. I highly recommend swinging over. It is really fun. Oh, Iron, thank you for the $10 to the donation fund. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. We are inching our way there. But we need to figure out who we are going to raid. I think, but I'm not 100% sure on this. We may raid Beepers? Beepers mayhaps? Yeah, I think we're gonna go with Doom 3. Actually, yeah, we're gonna raid one of our fellow players for tomorrow. She is currently playing Doom 3. That is gonna be Anatrocious. Oh, misspelled that. I forgot an A. I forgot an A. Okay, there we go. I was like, it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. Why did you know, Worky? But until then, guys, we'll be back live here on this channel come Monday. Monday at the latest. If I'm lucky, we may be able to sneak something in. If you aren't already, I do recommend joining the Discord. That's going to be your best place to get alerts and announcements for what shit's coming around. Or you can find me on Blue Sky or Twitter under the exact same name. I have the exact same name everywhere because I am 100% original, baby. Suck it. But until then, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. And thank you for enjoying the show. Good night. Oh, we need a raid message. We're doing the crime brulee. Time for crime brulee. Good night, guys.